Let's see. Goddamn. Let's look off. Hey, boo boo. Hi, little boo boo. You gotta do this little bag thing where you just like start pounding against his bag. Really? Really, bruh? What? There's nothing in here for you. It's literally just peanuts and coffee. Why would you want that? Why would you want that, dog? And he has nothing to say. Top of the morning to you. It's not even midnight. It's still like today. It's not tomorrow yet. Oh my god, this dog. Do you mind? Come here. Come here, buddy. I have a little bit from earlier. It's one here. That's still nighttime. Yes. Yes. You sweet little thing, you. You goober. What? My god, what a dork. You're a goober. He's just straight staring at me. I don't know what he's expecting, but... What a little twerp. What a little twerp. Hi. Can I help you? What a weirdo. This dog's a goof. He's still trying to, like, or was, pawing at me. It's like, my god, dog. Why do you have to do this? Ay. What an absurd little mutt. He's just an absurd boy. But nonetheless, he's a sweet boy. I had a great daydream earlier that I had a brick of weed, but once I woke up, I was sad. I mean, it's not necessarily like... It's more of like kind of a daydream, but then more of like... It's kind of more of a nightmare if you think about it. Because, like, the nightmare is that you can't, it's not actually real. It's not really there. It's like, is that really a dream? I want to call it a dream. Call that shit like some sort of fucking goddamn travesty is what it is. But then again, I'm sure a brick of weed is probably just like that shit weed grossness, not even good stuff. So. Guarantees I ain't even a good shit. Which that in itself is a travesty. Can't even be a quality brick, it has to be that dirt, grassy nonsense. Body screen for real THC. Well, isn't it THC 0? That's technically real THC, it's just a different cannabinol. So, I mean, it's not like you aren't getting it, it's just not the ones that you're used to. Don't tell you shit that was lame. I will say that stuff is kind of lame. Oh, there's a fucking hair in here, god damn it. Of course it's a goddamn dog hair. There we go. It's artificial THC for minor addiction issues popping up in studies. Well, then be careful with it. Because I know there can be at least, more or less like emotional addictions to regular marijuana, but if there's like extra issues that pop up with some artificial shit, then be careful with that. I mean, obviously got a big do, but I guess in a way don't get too dependent. Oh, but that's turned out like spice. Yeah, that would really fucking suck if that's what it ended up actually being. Or kind of more or less, ended up like. Honestly, there was like this little shroom house in Portland that initially I thought about going to, but at this point, fuck that place. Because it's basically like super suspect as fuck. And also, no agency wants to touch it for some reason. Like the Oregon Health Administration fucking thinks it's the Portland Police Bureau and the local police's issue. They think it's the OHA's issue. And the mayor ain't fucking doing anything about it because even though he's kind of in charge of the PBB and think it's also like an issue of another department, but the other department that he's thinking has issues or can resolve it, it's like we can't do anything about this. This isn't even our jurisdiction. This would be this will be like between these two agencies, which would be the OHA and then the Portland Police Bureau, and they're fucking fighting on who deals with it. So no one's touching it. And there's a lot of worker violations and shit where people aren't getting paid and people are getting overworked and underworked and underpaid and everything. And they're hiring at less than Oregon minimum wage. And they're doing potential tax avoidance. And they, for some reason, want your fucking information, like your phone number, address, and your name and stuff like that, as like info before you buy anything. And it's card only, like, with debit cards and shit. It's like, what? It's like, fuck that. Like, that just sounds like some really sketchy fucking shit, and I don't want anything to do with that. So, yeah, there might be some shrooms there, but, I mean, especially considering my, labor bent, like, no. I ain't supporting a place that fucks the workers over. I mean, I can get the tax avoid shit. I can let that slide. I can even think, the info shit is definitely sus, but even then, I might, still grab shrooms if they weren't fucking the workers over. But because of that, too, it's like, fuck that. My favorite pipe stores got raided yesterday, and the owner, Puff Daddy, got arrested for selling Marigine out the back. Ah, damn, dude, that sucks. It's kind of the fucking thing about, like, when shit's, fucking, underground, is that, like, like, with this type of shit, because there's, businesses that are more or less legit, and for all intents and purposes, might as well sell weed too, but aren't because it's illegal and all this shit. And at the same time, there's also, like, superficial shops like Shroom House that fucking are heavily exploitative and then probably, frankly, need to be shut down and raided. But, it just shows priorities are fucked. Like, instead of getting some dude, selling weed in a basement, get, like, these, other places that are actually fucking people over and shit. Like, even if their product that they're selling isn't the problem, like, I don't think the shrooms are the issue here. It's literally everything else that revolves around it. Like the tax avoidance shit, like the mistreatment of workers, collecting people's info where you shouldn't or need it. It's like, there's some really sus shit where probably could get raided and successfully, have meritable evidence to shut it down. But the shroom part, I could give a fuck about. Like, I mean, I don't care. I just want it regulated. Like, that's kind of the thing, It's like, I got no issue of having a shroom house like that, whatever, but I would want it to be legitimate instead of this weird sketchy shit. It really isn't shit. Ah, dude, yeah, fuck. Well, I mean, he most likely will be sent into a wing of the jail that's more meant for older age folks like him. So he probably won't be sent into a place where there's a lot of young bucks that are gonna fuck with him or, shit like that. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up meeting some people he knows. So he might already have people that, he could be okay with, because it's like, oh yeah, I used to deal with you, man. And it's like, yeah, you bought weed from me. And it's like, what's up, bro? And you got a rapport, so, I mean, it's still fucked, but, he probably won't be that, like, bad off. You should, I mean, it's not a good situation, but, I mean, at least he might not be as, like, like, he probably will be at least a little bit more well-off in comparison to other people. I mean, who knows? Maybe they don't give one fuck or another. They're just like, you're in with literally everybody else. Like, young bucks, old people, they're all in the same wings and shit. Like, I mean, who knows? Many people who knows. He was the biggest weed guy in North Bama for 15 years. Yeah, like, for 15 years, yeah, that motherfucker's gonna know people. He's gonna know people on the inside. Taking him down was a surprise. Really? Well, I guess it's because he probably, was just being cool and shit for the most part for a long time, and maybe there was some undercovers. Honestly, that's probably what happens. Like, there's some undercovers in the local county that are like, hey, let's just try to sniff out some weed dealers and shit, and he just happened to end up being a mark. Because, I mean, fucking cops do this all the time. Where they'll have people who are basically, plainclothes officers, undercovers and shit that look like any other person, and basically will get a rapport going with people, and, after some time of being their buddy, they ask for some weed, or stuff like that, because they eventually get close enough to them and let their guard down enough to where they show them their weed op, or they sell them some weed and stuff like that. And they don't usually hit them right off the bat after that. They usually will build up evidence. So sometimes they'll be like, alright, he has some weed, but he might be getting it for somebody. Let's keep this going and see if there's a chain of command or a chain of supply going on here. They'll do shit like that. So that's probably what happened, honestly. They might have gaffled the dude, and they're like, where you get this? And that dude probably just ratted him out, and that's how they do. That also could have been it. Like, you had some just other detectives who might not have been plainclothes officers bust some other fuck, that doesn't need to be busted, but nonetheless did. And when they asked him, where'd he get this, and all that shit, he probably just ratted it out. It's like, oh yeah, I got it from this one place, where blah blah blah, is that, and all this other shit. Hopefully that's a way to maybe get a lesser sentence. Again, it's fucked, but nonetheless, it happens. So it's like, it's probably realistically is what happened there. He was just kind of part of different drug stuff going on in the county and shit. Probably got busted. Hey, sit over here. Here. Hey, no, hey, no, day. No. Hey, look, you baby, in the bed. In the pepper. Hey. 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 Oh my god. Shut up. You gotta be kidding me. Shut up. Hey. Would you get the fuck over here? Hey. Hey. Get over here. Sit down. Come on, dude. Quit being a butt. It's likely the roommate. Shut up. The story someone told me was someone tipped off the cops. So it was definitely someone who got gaffled and ratted him out. When we surprised if it was one of the teenagers he sold to, I disagreed with some of the teens, but it was his business, not mine. Well, that's probably what happened. Maybe one of those teenagers got caught, and, you know, they basically told him you can either be tried as an adult and, you know, like, get fucked for most of your life, or we can get you a lesser sentence and this and that if you cooperate with us and tell us where you got this and all this other shit. I guarantee you that's exactly what happened. So, honestly, just for the kid's protection, he probably did rat him out. You know, just because, you know, the kid's probably like, well, I could probably at least have a juvenile, you know, sentencing and shit instead of being charged like an adult or something, and then, you know, eventually down the line maybe get my shit expunged, you know, as an adult, and it doesn't affect me later down the line. Like, you know, it's basically the cop saying, like, I can either fuck you for life or fuck you a little bit. Take your pick. You know, so that's essentially what happened, I guarantee it. Which is fucked, you know, because all it does is just ruin people's lives. You know, for both ends, really. For the guy and for the teenager that fucking, you know, was caught with it. And yeah, I do agree with you, you know, I wouldn't sell to teens, you know, even in a legal sense where it's like I go in a dispensary and give it back to the, where the kid gives me money and I give the weed to the kid afterwards. Like, I would disagree with that too. But, I mean, nonetheless, like, if a teenager wants to smoke some weed, they're going to find a way to do it. And there's somebody who's not going to give a fuck about the moral qualms and sell it to them. Or give it to them. Or just, you know, pass it to the kid or something. You know, they're going to find a fucking way. You know, and they shouldn't be fucked over just because, you know, they're curious. If anything, you know, maybe letting them just doing it once and actually being smart and educating them about it and being like, all right, I'll let you have one joint here and, you know, we'll have it back and forth and let you try it, you know, so we have an educational thing with them. If anything, maybe being a little open about that with, you know, kids and shit, at least if they're like 15, 16, or 17 and shit, you know, probably would, you know, like, make them less likely to be like, ooh, this is taboo, I should go try to find it, man, you know, because then they realize, oh, it ain't that big of a deal. It's like they might still go out and try to seek it maybe later down the line, but they're not going to have like this big, ooh, you know, big thing over it, which also kind of adds like a little, like, you know, want to look behind your back and see if there's a cop looking at shit, which also adds suspicion and thus makes it easier for a cop to look out for someone that might be doing suspicious shit because they'll look out for shit like that. If anything, just, you know, not, you know, seeing things as taboo, you know, and just kind of going with the flow of things, especially when it comes to, like, societal things, and just kind of, like, strutting with a little confidence or whatever, definitely helps when it comes to these type of issues, because there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe want to go grab a little, you know, a dime bag of weed or some shit like that, and then, you know, because they're all looking around, either seeing if their buddy's showing up, or if a cop might be turning the corner or something, they end up looking a little sus. Tip. Bruh. You barked all that much, and now you're not barking, now you're just sitting there staring at him. Just like, you're here now. Hi.
Yeah.
You little ruffian.
I figured out I actually have plans tomorrow, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you go to Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to, you know, I'm going to kind of stay at, you know, to go to it and shit, but got some coffees to help keep me up. Sorry if I went to since the Mustang started smoking. I hope he gets off or his son takes over the shop because they always have good quality pipes and bongs. Well, I'm sure the kid will probably, you know, take the shop over at least temporarily.
What?
Oh, Venom, like this, there's like this store that I used to go to that has some pipes and bongs there, and it got raided by the Alabama cops and shit yesterday. So, the dude that he knew got arrested, and he's just saying that hopefully he isn't in jail long. He just always have several grand in cash in the bank, a few hundred on hand. I'm sure he'll make bail easy. I'm sure he will. I know there's like I know in Oregon at least, I think the whole bail is they have to at least pay 10% of it. So I remember, like, technically my bail was $4,000 when I was in jail for like 12 hours. But you had to at least pay 400 of it and to be released. And
was that when you got arrested for protesting?
Yeah.
Your bail was $4,000?
Yeah, but you have to at least like pay 10% of it. So usually most of the small offenses, when you got arrested, were usually like the equivalent of $4 to $6,000. So basically $400 to $600. You have to pay it, and either that to get out of your own pocket, or if you're able to get your info, or at least
bail bondsman.
Yeah, because in most protest groups, or most protests, especially when they're intend to get rowdy and arrests are made, they usually, will have people there that, are tied with organizations that help bail people out in protests when, they're unjustly arrested and shit.
Yeah.
And I happened, when I was inside in the waiting room and all that shit waiting to get processed, there was a guy that happened to know some info. It's like, yeah, I could let you get pass your names down through, for you guys. And I was like, yeah, my name's blah, 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 and that's my friend, blah, 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 It's like, okay, cool, I'll make sure that's gone through, and, that's eventually how I got out. But you want to know the real big bad part of this? My dealer got his supply from him, so does everyone he knows sells. So there's a huge hole in the weed market here right now, and that actually is not necessarily good. And yeah, that is the bad part. Not really just because now there's a hole in the market, but now that means there's opportunity for other people to probably take advantage of that, because now there's a hole here, we can expand ops, and sometimes those people might be a little unscrupulous. Usually, especially when it comes to weed, not much of these days. That usually tends to be other drugs, but I mean, it's still mostly an illegal state, so it's still going to be at least potentially tied with that. Which, again, just another fuck thing about prohibition and the illegality of this shit. It's ridiculous. It does more harm than good. I mean, I think it's just proven now at this point when it comes to this shit. But no one necessarily wants to, mention that, usually. At least people that, make money off of it, they usually don't like to admit it. Rational, normal people tend to realize this in one way, shape, or form. The average Joe tends to know this on one way. At least on one way, shape, or form. I forgot to put some tunes in the background. There we go. Ugh. Whoever ratted the dealer out. I said a dope fire. I mean, it was likely just some teenager that, was, basically extorted into a lesser sentence. This is pretty much just what my Occam's racers tell me about how that whole bust happened. Is that a teenager got caught, with a little bit of dope in his pocket, and the cops are like, we'll give you a lesser sentence and maybe some juvenile shit instead of it, being tried as an adult. If you tell us where you got this and cooperate with us, and the kid did. This likely is what happened. It's the last time I'm cleaning the piece. What do you mean? It's like I watched this the other day. I've had it for a minute. Gets a little, gristled in after a little bit of time. I don't clean it literally every single time I use it. Give it a day or two, but I usually keep that on the rag. My lord. Ugh. And plus, it's like that tempered, not tempered, but like that kind of iced looking glass or whatever, so it kind of like adds a little like extra coloring to it or whatever the fuck. Not coloring, but like shade or whatever. Frosted glass, yeah, frosted glass, yeah. It kind of adds like a little extra, you know, like shading to it. So in this lighting, it just kind of looks a little darker. Hope the cartel doesn't use this opportunity to expand their arm. That's kind of what I mean. It's like in illegal states, in places like in Alabama and shit, like, yeah, the cartels can still have operations out there. So, they'll probably notice that hole eventually and, you know, expand. Which won't be good, because that means more, you know, violent type of crime could potentially rise from that type of shit. Because it's cartel, you know, activity, not just some random Joe Schmo growing weed in his basement. I have to go to a mountain on my way to get my vape card slim out because of this arrest. Oh, man. Oof. Well, that sucks. Cartels are like car dealerships and murder rapacious scumbags, but they provide what society needs. I don't think cartels are exactly like car dealerships, but I guess I get what you mean. I don't know what you're talking. Cartels don't do violence, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know. Just go look at like any cartel in fucking Mexico and the shit that they sometimes will flex, you know, just to make a point to not fuck with them. So, I don't know. Like, there's the CNTJ or whatever the fuck. Like, they're very fucking notorious. I think that's what they're called. They're like some acronym, like C and something J or something like that. But, yeah, they're pretty notorious. Sinaloa, they're another one that's pretty notorious and shit. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know you're kind of memeing, but it's like, come on now. First time I met a cartel guy, he stuck gun in my face and it was like, "Zup, bitches." Was it really like, I can't tell if you're memeing that one. Cartel Generación Nueva Generación. Oh, CJNG? Okay. So, I kind of got the acronyms, or the letters kind of right, but I was a little off. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. But, I'm not memeing. So, some cartel guy just pulls out a gat, and it's like, "Zup, bitches!" Like, I mean, that's kind of what I mean, though. Like, I mean, I guess it's not, like, outright violent, but that's definitely a way to make a point and say, yeah, I'm cartel, and don't fuck with me. You know, it's like, we own this block now. That's like, essentially is what he did. It's like, sup, this is our turf now. Because I'm a timid fuck. Well, that's kind of, again, why he did it. He saw, like, hey, there's a few people that are a little timid, I can flex my shit, and they ain't gonna do fuck all, so I'm gonna show and flex that it's my block now. Like, this is our cartel block. Like, that's, I mean, it's like, I didn't exactly outright grow up in the streets, but I know enough about it to know exactly how this shit works. At least for the most part. I know about how like 80% of this type of shit works, even though I'm not necessarily cut from it. I got enough friends that, you know, have been around this type of street smarts and street shit. So, it's like the most extreme form of toxic masculinity that needs to be pointed out more often. Yeah, I do tend to agree, because it's kind of a way to, you know, try to kind of flex this sense of confidence and sense of, you know, dominance, basically. Because that's kind of a part of, you know, the cartel culture overall. I mean, not necessarily just cartel culture, but, you know, kind of broader gangster culture. It's like, yeah, I'm the biggest, you know, bad dog out here, and, you know, like, and fuck you, and your block and shit. Like, you know, it's like drill rap, you know, type of culture and stuff like that too, a little bit. Like, a lot of these type of things, you know, kind of emulate around this very toxic, masculine type of idea of, like, I'm the bad dog and fuck you, you're the little bitch. Politically incorrect, but it's true. I don't really think it's politically incorrect. If anything, I think it's kind of the opposite to say so. I mean, a little bit. Because, I mean, there's, like, you got, like, some people that are kind of challenging that a little bit because they're, because a lot of, that type of culture, had a lot of very, toxic masculine and very homophobic type of elements within its type of, within its culture and stuff. It didn't, it's definitely, gangster culture is politically right. Well, I mean, in the sense of calling it out. I mean, like, being like, hey, this is like, there's a lot of like basically just advertising and enabling of a lot of this toxic masculine culture. That's what I'm saying. Like that, like to say that, I'll point out, pointing out that the gangster culture is toxic masculine. Yeah, like pointing it out is, and saying that that's politically incorrect. I mean, that's what I was saying, that if anything, it's the opposite. Because I would think that there's, if anything, a lot of, that type of culture tends to be very politically incorrect. Because, like I said, there's a lot of, homophobic, tropes, within some of this, culture and stuff. Same thing with a lot of, misogynistic, ideas about, like, oh, I'm just going to smack your bitch, stuff like that, whatever the fuck. I mean, again, like, toxic masculine type of shit. So it's, like, if anything, to say that, to point that out would be more, quote, politically correct. So if anything, I'm saying the opposite. But again, it is true. Like, there is a lot of that type of stuff, and I think there are, like, at least some people out there within that type of rap culture that I think are trying to kind of change those norms a little. There are not really that many of them. You might find a few here and there, or I think one of the more prominent ones, at least when it comes to kind of breaking down some of the more homophobic tropes and stuff, is Lil Nas X, like, especially with his music video Montero, basically strip dancing for Satan, as like a very flamboyantly gay guy, so it's, he's, there's a few people like him out there that are kind of breaking those norms a little and, breaking the trend, but again, there's not really that many of them, and there's only really one out there that's being very prominent. I'm sure there's others, but like I said, there's not really as many of them out there in comparison to what's been normalized for a long time. Not exists or would be severely reduced if a world where welfare was fully funded alongside a functional education system. I don't think it will necessarily like not exist or be severely reduced, but it will have a different idea of what it's about. Like, because I know there's like, in some element, in at least in some areas, of the culture, not everywhere, honestly, nowhere near enough, frankly, where there's like a sense of, it's mostly like within your group or like within your gang or your, like, basically your tribe, essentially, like in comparison to the other gangs and the other tribes and this and that and blah blah blah, like when it comes to tribalization and otherization. But like usually when it comes to at least within your own neighborhoods and stuff like that, there's a sense of like, hey, we look out for each other and try to stick up for each other and type of shit. And I think if there was more of that, like, social, welfare uplifting, especially in these neighborhoods, I think a lot of that would be more predominant, and a lot less of the violent otherization of like, oh, we're better than you, because that's just pretty much all they got left. And again, obviously it's not inherently their fault. A lot of it's systemic, because a lot of it's due to the fact that a lot of their neighborhoods and a lot of their communities have been heavily impoverished, from from the fucking beginning, frankly. Uplifting from where? I'd say like taxes of a lot of the rich, and reinvestment in like police funding and military funding, at least military funding federally, and police funding when it comes to state. And so you spend all the money up. Well, that's what I mean. Divest a lot of that police funding into social welfare resources, which unfortunately there's a lot of bullshit bureaucracy that a lot of cities, mainly because of how owned they are basically by the fucking police and shit, tend to gobble it up and stonewall it. Like within Portland, LA, unfortunately it's fucking everywhere when it comes to that fucking problem. It's because police, like the shit that has been established. Like if anything, they do generally like the culture as much as they on surface, fucking, have a vitriol about it for the most part, because it helps with their quotas. It helps, with, keeping their crooked system, cycling around just as much as it keeps people, desperate and shit because of the poverty. Typical cycle. Most first installed are people or for financial reasons. I believe a better education system would have a good chunk of them, and their functional welfare state would also help. Yeah. They'd rather buy more police to fight crime than they could be avoiding, so invest in the community, said. Yep. That's not what the film. It's not a film. Seems to be a pirate being outlaw. Era has always been a romantic. Yeah. I mean, in a way, it has. But that makes too much sense. Unfortunately, it does, doesn't it? Bandits, rebels, kingpins, pirates, and name it. You're making me actually want to find a song very specifically. Hold up. I got a song to play now. You're all making me think about it. Are these still on? Ha! They are! Oops. I was like, wait, why aren't these playing? I was like, oh, that's why. Okay, let's see. Did that? Yeah, there we go. Hey! Okay, there we go. Rock and metal still exists in subgenres? Yeah. I mean, hell, punk still exists today, you know, doing this thing. Hey, get the fuck over here! Come here! Yeah, I know I can get him with. Sit out in the rain. Let's see them people. It's a person. Let's make it future. Let's take them starting things. I'm gonna make us outlaws again. Is that what it's come to, my friends? I don't think I know why Pretty Boy Floyd done the things he did. I'm gonna make us outlaws again. Back when white people had culture. I mean, actually, it's a little true. Rock and metal isn't dead, but it's not quite nearly as lively as popular as it used to be. Just because the ignorer likes the screeching of cats as music doesn't mean we all do. Fuck you, Phantom. And hey, we're not like, I mean, I ain't the only one that likes that either. People in the 60s decried the loss of interest in swing. People in the 40s decried the fall of the rags, etc., etc. Yeah. It's just me and a grifer. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, metal, if any, at least rock and metal, tends to be more, somewhat more popular in places like in Europe and South America right now. While at least in America, it seems to be more like kind of rap and things like that, you know, and I guess a little bit like Europop and Euro EDM mix stuff like that as well in Europe. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, metal and rock isn't really as lively as it used to, but it's definitely still got, like, a underpinning kind of a little bit in North America, but it's definitely pretty lively in South America and in Europe a little bit. I just can't get into most of it. And I'm kind of the same way about it. Like, I definitely like some rap. Like, I can get into some rap artists and stuff. But, I mean, for the most part, it's not, like, my genre, so I'm not always listening to it. But, yeah, all in all, I mean, it's just like a lot of these different genres, honestly, and never really, like, outright die. They just kind of tend to not be nowhere near as lively as they normally, you know, used to, at least especially during their peak and shit. Because there, you know, there would be a lot of, you know, different, like, there's, like, a lot of this, like, you know, a lot of, like, you know, different bluegrass and, like, you know, blues and swing stuff. I mean, it still definitely exists. I mean, that's why there's, like, a lot of blues fests in different cities and shit, like the Portland Blues Fest, the Chicago's Blues Fest. I mean, like, pretty much, like, every major city has a blues fest. So, I mean, you know, like especially when it comes to blues and a lot of different very subgenres that kind of come from that, you know, definitely, you know, there's definitely still a liveliness, you know, to it. I mean, because I mean, at these blues fests, yeah, there's a lot of old boomers and shit, but I do see a lot of people my age as well, you know, appreciating the music too. So I mean, there's definitely people, you know, out there still, you know, enjoying this shit for sure. As lively as used to. I mean, not as much, but I mean, there's definitely people that, you know, are still out there even making music, you know, contemporarily when it comes to this type of stuff. Eminem is my favorite rapper. I know, I know generic white boy music. To be fair, a lot of rap reflects on realities I never lived. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the same thing too. Like a lot of, you know, like when it comes to music, I mean, a lot of how someone gets into it is usually if they can kind of reflect and, you know, relate to it in some way. And, you know, obviously if there's nothing you can really necessarily relate to, then there's not much, you know, of an interest in getting into it. Though, I mean, in a sense, I mean, there's definitely some stuff that I don't necessarily relate to, but I can empathize with and stuff. I mean, when it comes to, like, you know, certain songs at least. Because there's like a lot of songs that might talk about like the struggles of growing up in like the hood or something like that, and you know, I can empathize and get into it because, you know, you know, there's similar struggles, you know, for all sorts of different people, you know, similar to that, you know, for, you know, at various different levels, but you know, it's something that, you know, even without the specific details, it's somebody, you know, that, or it's at least something that, you know, people kind of understand on some level, and you know, and being able to at least like kind of have a commonality with. Which is basically just the commonality of struggle. Are they the same? Obviously not, but, you know, still, something that, you know, is analogous to. I like 80s and 90s rap, mostly weird stuff like jazz rap. Dude, I like stuff like that too, honestly. Run 80s bad black guys, not your match. For like 90s black guys. I like weird genres like rap rock. Rap rock is actually not really that much of a weird genre. It's a pretty good genre, and I like it myself. I mean, I think Rage Against the Machine is like the one that most people know. There's also, I mean, I guess not really, but like Cypress Hill does a little bit. I mean, mainly just because, you know, they've collaborated with different works, you know, like with Anthrax and shit. So, in the 80s, when they still wore hats. Black men still wear hats now? What? Huh? God, like, every black person I see around here is always wearing a hat of some sort, for the most part. Like, what the fuck? What? Huh? Old Papa Roach before he got clean is great. Stuff he made after he got clean was pretty preachy, and I'm not into it. Boo. Now right there do definitely be some bullshit. It's kind of like what this one, like this kind of like one band Skillet did a little bit. Like their first early stuff wasn't really like Christian rock, but then their later albums after a certain point became very Christian rocky, and it's just like it's like I don't want this. It's like, come on, why? It's like I can't really think of any like rock or metal band that's like put Christian shit in it and have done it good. I guess Iron Maiden, but a lot of those songs also tend to be kind of like critiques, you know, sometimes. Like, The Greater Good of God is mostly a critique towards, like, religious extremists and shit. Especially Christian ones. I mean, so it's like... I mean, even they're not, like, totally being preachy. I mean, I have Skill on my playlist, and that's fine. Like, I got nothing wrong with people liking it. I'm just like, you know, it's like, I personally am not really a fan of it. Just because they're kind of preachy. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm biased though because like even though I like Iron Maiden, like they're kind of prudish. At least like Bruce Dickinson is a little bit. Like he really does not like weed. Like I mean, if he even catches the tiniest whiff, if he's in his gigantic shows that he goes to, he will like accost for a minute and be like, if you're gonna be smoking that fucking herb, then go out in the back and come back when you're done and all this other shit. And it's just like, jeez, Bruce. It's like, man, how in the fuck can you tell from like in a small little amphitheater? That's kind of what I noticed. You have like hyper smell or something going on there. I know Steve Harris, from what I understand, doesn't like the smell of it, which, whatever, I don't care that they don't like it, but it's like, oh my lord, like the tiniest little thing, and they're just so like, nah! It's like, the only way I could figure that they would probably, like, notice if somebody in the front row is doing it, which, honestly, if they're in the front row, then they're, like, a hardcore fan of Maiden. And if that's the case, then they should know better. Like, if you're in, like, the nosebleed seat, like, whatever. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna give a fuck or notice. It's like, because I've smoked weed at Maiden shows, but we're in, like, the nosebleeds. They're, like, the most farthest end from everybody, So it's like, there ain't no way in hell, Skills gay as fuck. See, like, it's... like, this is why I'm not a fan of them. Like, because no one likes them, and they're kind of like... Yeah, I'm kind of game. Rise is my favorite song from them because even though I know they mean like Christian Revolution, the song I take as a social letter for them. Wait, they actually have like, let's have a Christian Revolution. Oh god, are they actually that fucking preachy with it? Jesus Christ. Oh man, dude, see what I mean? See, yeah, that is gay as fuck. Yeah, see, Colby's right. Like, gay, ew, gross, like, ugh. Yeah, let's have, like, a Christian theocracy, yo. Rise. Let's have a song about that, yo. It's like, ugh. It's like, no thank you. I don't want that. Like, these motherfuckers are already trying to do that right now. Can we not, please? It's not overtly a Christian revolution. They're implying it. They dog whistle it. Nah. I mean, I honestly have no idea. I guarantee they, aren't maybe like hardcore conservatives. I don't fucking know, but I mean, well, the five-figure Death Punch exists. Like, I mean, they're pretty Christian, or Christian and conservative as fuck. Religion killed rock music. Late 90s rock became all vaguely religious. Yeah, I mean, religion tends to fuck over everything, doesn't it? Religion just, ruins a lot of stuff that it touches. Like, the only thing I'm willing to give somewhat of a pass is, like, liberation theology and, like, Christian socialist ideas and stuff. Like, I'm willing to give a pass to that, because it's pretty much in tandem with a lot of what I believe anyway. It's just very Christian, I guess, but whatever. But, like, when it mixes in with anything, like, literally anything else, it's like, what? And even then, I'm not even really that big of a fan of, like, the hyper-preachy, liberation theology, Christian socialist stuff. I mean, I'm more okay with it, but it's just the religious preachy shit of it that I don't like. I mean, I don't like religious preachy shit, period. So, it's like, even though obviously we're more, at least with that idea, with those ideas, we're more on the same team, basically. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's like there's still the preachiness, and I still don't like that. It's like, yeah, cool, but can you stop invoking God on everything, please? Can we not have like 1,000 nativity scenes every time I drive around when there's like Christmas going on and shit? Like, for fuck's sake. It's like, God, it's like everyone bothers with your Christian stuff. It's like, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like, whatever, it's like left, right, up, down, sideways, horizontal, vertical, backwards, forwards, like, I mean, whatever spectrum of religion it comes from, it's like, it gets shoved everywhere. It's like, blah. Kendrick Lamar is Christian, but he's still one of my favorite rappers because he uses religion in his music in an interesting way. I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, you can use it, like I said earlier, like with Iron Maiden, one of the original, like, more, like, classic metal bands and shit, like, they use religion in their songs in interesting ways, like, if the song, The Greater Good of God, you know, and different songs like that. Like, they have, you know, some pretty good songs that do invoke religion or Christianity to an extent, but in some ways, if it also kind of critique itself too a little bit. Like some of, I mean, like, cause like I said, at least with some of the Greater Good of God, like with that song, it's kind of like I said, kind of a critique of a lot of the religious extremists that essentially would rather bring violence when it comes to their ideas, even though, yeah, you know, the whole idea is that someone died, you know, so we don't have to do that, basically, you know, hence, like, Jesus died on the cross, like, that was kind of the point, is so we don't have to be doing this, but here you are, you know, being the extremist and shit. So, I mean, in a way, it's like, it's still kind of a religious song, but it's also a critique too, because it's basically saying you're doing it wrong. Like, you know, you're doing it in the way that, I mean, it brings more despair more so than what it's supposedly trying to bring. Which, unfortunately, I mean, the Bible, you know, especially through, I mean, even a lot of various points in the New Testament, but especially in the Old, like, there's a lot of instances where it's just straight up like, yeah, if we're the greater good of God, we're going to basically destroy and massacre our enemies and, you know, dash your babies against the rocks and all this other shit. Like, I mean, the whole baby dashing against rocks stuff is literally in the Bible, too. So it's like, I mean, all this type of shit, you know, is justified within the Bible. I mean, that's why, at the end of the day, you know, like, I can at least appreciate, you know, songs that, you know, might invoke some religious, you know, things in there, because it provokes actually interesting thought, you know, at that point. You know, even someone secular like me, or an atheist, or literally anyone else from other, you know, like another belief, you know, can interpret something from it and actually have a, you know, something thought-provoking off of it. And I like that type of stuff. And there's plenty of songs, you know, different artists and different genres that, you know, and artists from those genres that, you know, do that type of stuff. I mean, hell, even in, like, some old, like, you know, American folk music and stuff, it, you know, did that. Like, in the labor movement, there's a song called The Preacher and the Slave, which initially is, from the same title of the song, is a kind of more of a Christian song that the Salvation Army actually used. And then the labor movement kind of rephrased it as a way to kind of gawk at the Salvation Army, as in the lyrics of their version of it would call it the Starvation Army. Yeah, so they would kind of use, like, you know, religious motifs, but use it as kind of a way of, you know, being more critical instead of, you know, being preachy. So, I mean, they're, you know, like, honestly, the whole idea of, like, you know, using kind of, like, religious ideas or themes, you know, in songs, and even being kind of critical of religion at times, you know, with it, you know, is honestly not that new. It's been going on for quite a long time. By the time I shouldn't go back in time 29 years to get my mom an abortion. What the hell? No. No, sir. Because you will not be here for all of us to appreciate your randomness. If you learn that cherry picking positive verse in the Bible is no reason to keep religion around. So I tend to agree with that. That's why, at the end of the day, I don't really like it, you know, even if it's like, you know, like I said from earlier, like, you know, Christian socialism or liberation theology. I mean, I still do. I'm, you know, in the sense of, like, I agree with them more, and I'm willing to obviously talk with those people and be friends with them and be far more willing to chill with them, even if they are a little preachy. But I still don't like the whole preachiness and shit. I don't like the religiosity of it all. But whatever, you know, at least I know they are not going to be trying to enact harm on people because of it. I mean, because honestly, at least when it comes to preaching religiosity of it, even though they might believe in the whole liberation theology, there's a lot of other Christians that believe in dominionism and evangelicalism and with very far-right religious ideas. And they might cherry-pick and interpret your Christian socialist ideas or your liberation theology ideas into a very far-right interpretation for their weird bullshit. I mean, that's kind of, you know, really the root of why it's a problem. Because, you know, you might be fine, but people might interpret your ideas and your beliefs, you know, while still ostensibly doing the same thing, and interpret it for some far more sinister shit. Obviously, it's not anything against the other person, but, you know, it's just like, for me, it's like, you know, the damage of religion goes more than just one person. I mean, and honestly, it's not, you know, really directly, you know, about a person or another when it comes to that. unless it's a part of an organized, institution like, the churches and stuff like that, like the Catholic Church. Like, those are individuals that are directly, harming people and shit. But when it comes to just the average person, that's a little different. Like, I'm sick of this. Well, Christianity to me is just mix and pick spirituality, and I'm living my truth. Basically, hypocritical nonsense. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I kind of tend to, be a little bit more appreciative of, like, atheist authors these days, because religion is really legitimately creeping its head in very dark ways right now. And it's just not good. And it's, at least in America, and different parts in Europe, too. And it's not exactly, comforting to know that, like, yeah, it's like, like, I understand that those people are bad, but, like, not everyone believes that, and because, they're just cherry-picking the bad stuff and doing that. It's like, I don't care, like, maybe the whole point is that the shit that they're taking it from is kind of an issue if that's what they're taking it from, cherry-picked or not. Like, the fuck? Especially when it's like this whole organized institutional thing that's spreading it and seeding it and investing its money. That's all tax exempt, by the way. Like, and also it's like they lobby and, legislate too. Like, one thing I found out with, at least with Measure 114 in particular, is that a church was one of the organizations that was lobbying and funding this shit. And it's like, I mean, well, it's like, hold up. So it's like, even though it's like a Lutheran, more progressive leaning church and shit, suddenly everyone looks around the corner when a tax exempt organization suddenly starts lobbying fucking government. When it comes to, and lobbying the legislative, electoral, process and shit. Suddenly everyone's starting to bat an eye and not give a shit. It's like, huh? It's like, I don't think any religious organization should be, like, lobbying or funding this type of shit, period, because it ends up creating some major fucking issues. And it's, overall, it's slippery slope that we pretty much have established as precedent, where we can let churches, fund and lobby government, for different issues that they, want to push. Regardless of really what side the aisle comes from. What the fuck? What's your... what? I know people take glee in the shitty parts of the Bible as an excuse to be horrible to people for being LGBT or homeless. Yeah. I guess just as another little side thing, I mean, considering that a church funded Measure 114 anyway, considering that makes it pretty severely more difficult for a lot of, queer folk like me to potentially defend ourselves in our spaces and shit from far-right extremists that don't give a fuck about what laws are. And will most certainly not be following any of these laws and shit, while we have to basically look at the cops that are, on their fucking side, be like, can you please make sure that I have an ability to defend myself, legally? It's like, oh my fucking god, hey. And there's not exactly, like, anything set up in place, for that to even be enacted technically tomorrow, but I think it's still in legal limbo right now. So, I have no fucking idea. Still, it's ridiculous. And considering that there is a large increase in attacks on LGBT, spaces and, people in general, and just different communities where they're like substations again, straight up attacked and shit, it doesn't exactly make me very fucking comfortable, knowing that, like, there's, this is going on and shit, and at least, statewide, at least around here, where a lot of these motherfuckers also tend to, like, creep around, their heads and shit, essentially have a lot more liberty to do all the fucking shit that they want to do, where sheriffs and different, police departments, openly say they ain't gonna be enforcing the law anyway, and they're, especially by proxy, most certainly are just gonna let, a lot of these right-wing chuckle fucks, just do whatever. So, it definitely makes me feel safe. There are tons of things I love about Stalin. That was a Kanye reference, if he was based. Dude, I mean, even then I wouldn't necessarily be that based. I guess it would be better than Hitler, but I mean, if like Kanye was doing that, I think it'd be at least a little better, but yeah. So this ain't Babylonians or savages destroyed murder. Wait, what? Hold on. Actually, I think it was Babylonians who invaded Israel and killed their infants by smashing them against rocks. This is a way to say it's saying Babylonians savages destroyed murder. Oh, okay. Is it mirror if you go back all the way to time when you... Or is it self-delete? That's a paradox. I think technically that's a self-delete, but then again, how would you go back in time to do it if you delete yourself? See, it's a paradox. You wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, because then you wouldn't exist to do it in the first place, so how would you do it? See? But at the same time, the original timeline, you were... See, like, I mean... You want to fry your fucking brain like an egg? So, like, you want to soft boil, you know, your brain a little bit? Like, because that's how you do it. It's been out... My grandma, when she was 20, she was hot as fuck. I mean, yes, and I mean, like, yes. But there's also, like, I guess a level of, like, I guess not necessarily, just because it's like, I mean, it's like, you know, it's a 20-year-old, you know, a 20-year-old version of a person that is likely doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, I mean, you know, they're like, but at the same time, it's like, yes, though, because, I mean, it's like, that's your family you're talking about, though, you know? It's like, because I can understand looking back at some pictures of, like, some, you know, for some old people that you know, and being like, you know, like, hey, look, here's, you know, a 20-year-old version of it, but then it's just like, then there's your fucking grandma! See, that's why I'm like, yes, it's like, I guess in any other circumstance it'd be fine, but no, this is your goddamn grandma you're talking about, my guy. Like, I mean, dude... I told her to her face she was busting as fuck. Oh my fucking god, Venom. Jesus Christ, you're out here trying to get your goddamn grandma fucking goddamn busting poom poom, dude. You're trying to get into your grandma's poom poom, my dude. Oh my god. Goddamn Venom. I mean, I think my female furry cousin is hot, but damn, you not 80-year-old poon. Nah, you want that 80-year-old poon poon, dude. You want it. Like, you're out here saying that, like, yo, you as a 20-year-old be bussin', yo. Like, that shit bussin'. And you want some of that. Like you can't escape it now, dude. It's too late. It's too late now. You opened that door. You're the one who opened this door. No one else did. You're the one who opened this fucking, like, labyrinth. You opened the fucking cube, dude, and now you're in the goddamn, like, Hellraiser labyrinth, and you're stuck. You're stuck in there now. I'm thirsty for a picture of a 20-year-old Lamal. Of your grandma! Like, I think there's a caveat to that information that you just sent right there, sir. And you, like, you thirsty? My dog's thirsty. Venom Chan. Dude, Venom Chan, bro. He is now Chris Venom or Venom Chan, whichever you prefer. Why am I grabbing this for water? That's your food bowl. Oh my god, you're... Well, my brain's a fried egg. I'm not gonna lie, Scott. I'm just saying she was hot. You can't tell me you would grab a titty and turn your ignore grandma. Oh, so now you're oh my god, now you're bringing my grandma into the... Oh, I should fucking slap you. Oh my god. What the okay, dude. Oh my god. I should time you out now, dude. Oh my god. Ugh. You're trying to bring my innocent grandma into this. My little, like, grandma. My little... no. Oh my... I'm just saying, Lamau. Oh, no. Fuck you. Oh my god. What is wrong? No. Do not... You're crossing lines, son. Like, this is a line that's being crossed. Zero, ignore sound management. My grandma's like in her fucking 90s, dude. She's like 96. I think she just turned 97. She's way older than that. I'm like, the fuck? Carl did that one, not me. Now you're also crossing lines. Now this is a Maoist struggle session. A Maoist struggle session. Fuck! Is he talk about fucking... Is he distract from the fact that he just praised the fascist dictator? Wait, did he do that? Oh, praise the Stalin. Oh, yeah, that's right. Stalin was calling out fascist. Yeah. I mean, that's debatable. Carl, I'm about to time you out too. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Zionist dictator, the Soviet Revolution was a joke. Oh my fucking... Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I'm about like halfway ready to just like... I don't even know. That's what you get. This is what happened. That's what happened now. Under Lenin, the USSR tried to merge socialism and capitalism. Stalin stopped his programs after he took power. Hence why Intercity Gladiators originally intended to be a military march. Well, thank God it wasn't. Because that would be pretty comical. You got fascist anti-Semites in the chat tonight, I guess. I'm not... It's okay when I do it? No, it's not. It's not okay when anyone does it. Like, oh my lord. What does that even mean? What's going on? Do I need to bring that song back? Because I will. I will do that, goddammit. I'll do it, damn it. Boom. I'm out of the shincest. It's okay when I joke about it. Oh my fuck it. What is even going? I'm putting Venom on blast for white capitalism. Yeah, Venom. Why are you defending capitalism? Yeah, why are you doing that, Venom? Yeah, what's wrong with you? Yeah, like, what the hell? What the hell, huh, bruh? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that shit? It's bullshit, bruh. It's bullshit, bruh. This is an anti-capitalist space. We do not accept capitalist ideology here, sir. We are a safe space against capitalism. Venom's probably like, when the fuck did I do this? What the hell? I'm being gaslit. I'm literally watching leftist propaganda on my computer while watching this off phone. She's feeling so gaslit. I'm just having fun here. I don't give. I don't know if you did or not. Like, me and CV is a good source of leftist propaganda. More like capitalist propaganda, sir. Respect Vosh for his appreciation for. You know, honestly, I think a lot of that might just be a meme. I think a lot of that's just more of a figure of speech of just how much he likes big dick. Which, well, figuratively, horses, well, I guess literally, do have big dicks. So, there you go. He realized Soviet Revolution ignored the important part of Marx's Capital, where he says that capitalism support transitional phase between feudalism and communism. So, ignore the part. I mean, well, I guess, you know, like, at least when it comes to the whole, like, transitional part of it, yeah. I mean, it has, like, a period where, yeah, it does, like, kind of transition to a point, but, I thought what happened in the civilized world. Well, yeah, I guess in a sense, it's kind of the one thing Marx didn't really account for, because he thought it would happen more in, like, Europe, where it's already massively industrialized, not an agricultural nation like Russia was. I mean, hell, he probably thought it would have likely happened more like in America, probably sooner than in Russia. Like, I mean, considering America had a very vibrant labor movement there, too. And the International also had influence in the U.S. as well during the time. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the one thing that he probably didn't really necessarily account for as much either. Because, you know, like, I think that's kind of the reason why there was at least, you know, the more broader, like, communism of, like, Bolshevism, and then there was, like, other various different ideas of far left thought like that, where, like, syndicalism, which was kind of more prominent in places like in Europe, like with in France and shit, and in Germany. Like, there was a lot of very broad, like, communist, anarchist schools of thought going on during the time, and, you know, like, syndicalism definitely wasn't no exception, but Bolshevism, once it succeeded in Russia, it became a lot more prominent because of its success. So, I mean, that's kind of the main reason why syndicalism, at least in a lot of those ideas of leftist thought, aren't as predominant anymore. It's just mainly because it, you know, didn't have as much success like, you know, Bolshevism did, you know, during that time. It was supposed to happen in post-industrialization, yeah. Which a lot of Europe already went through at that point. Which Marx also predominantly grew up in, so that's where kind of a lot of his idea of thought came from, was in that already. Which, again, Russia didn't really have nowhere near as much of. Like, they had some, but not a lot. And Lincoln wrote in the front page of New York Tribune during League Express, and the paper endorsed by Lincoln and his party. Yeah, and also a lot of different socialist philosophers and figures, from that time, thought pretty fondly of him too, like Frederick Douglass. And I think Marx is also somewhat familiar with John Brown too, a little bit. I don't think they ever met or ever wrote to each other, but I think he was kind of aware of him. He also wrote Lincoln and encouraged him to push harder for the abolition of slavery. Yep. Utah should have been... Feelings can't defend themselves from us. It's their right to have to their own fate. Just as much as any other, just expand that logic to indigenous people and shit. Because basically, it's like, replace, if Cherokees can't defend themselves from us, right do they have to their own fate? I mean, see how that gets a little icky really quick? I mean, especially with that follow-up statement. Just saying. That's why, by principle, fuck those ideas. Venom plus Carl equal Kanye, I guess. I think Carl's emulating more Kanye. Are human and therefore have fundamental rights as such. But that's a slippery slope problem with it. Just because maybe you do doesn't mean that a lot of other people, with more sinister ideas and more sinister ambitions, think otherwise. And they're likely to have more influence or power and control over time versus than you probably would. Because you helped them put them there. Not exactly good ideas. Just on principle. So that points to so titled the free tourist visit is a Venezuela government. Technically, I can even move there if I want to. Sure, buddy. I don't know if he believes you. Theoretically, aliens wouldn't be subject to human laws, and therefore, unless you pass a law giving them rights to every resource they exploited. No, they're not. And how would you know anyway? I mean, maybe if we did DNA tests on them, maybe we'd find out that panspermia was a thing, and we actually have, genetic lineage to them. Or vice versa, even. So it's just like, I mean, you don't know that. Who knows? Maybe aliens visiting us might confirm something like panspermia. So it's like, I mean, them visiting could open up different theories and shit, and who knows? Maybe it might even open up to a theory of... the idea that maybe there are multiple different humanoid species, like us, that also exist in other realms and other planets. So, again, you don't know that. That's the thing with aliens. You don't exactly know what they're going to be like. So, thus, you can't exactly, just assume, what they're going to be. Or assume that we're going to be better than them, or assume that, they're not going to be able to defend themselves against us. They're kind of naive assumptions. Because it turns out that two-armed, two-legged form we take ends up being a long-term winner in evolution. I mean, it doesn't necessarily end up having to be the long-term winner. I mean, maybe it's just one variation of a longer... form of evolutionary adaptation that ends up being more successful, but maybe there's other animals and other alien creatures out there that are able to adapt better with different forms. Just depends. I guess that's another thing. That's kind of another little bit of an assumption. I mean, we don't truly know that 100%, depending on what we see or what visits us. That way we can use limited player science to great technological levels. Well, who knows? Maybe there might be some that's even better than our two-legged, two-armed form. Maybe there'll be aliens that have a far superior form of, like, use of appendages. So maybe, like, the more insectoid-like form of having, like, 6 limbs or 8 limbs like arachnids or something like that would probably be more superior, or even centipede-like. Like, just, 100 or something. Maybe... But that's not my point. Well, yeah... So we found a planet made of little gold inhabited by living sentient life forms in a Bronze Age, which would leave the gold alone to preserve those aliens. Sure, yeah. Because gold is actually a pretty common thing to find in the universe. I mean, it's not like rare. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure gold is something that you could potentially find on, like, asteroids and meteorites and stuff like that. So, their inherent limits to something conceivably intelligent and resourceful enough to travel through space. It probably won't take the shape of squid or spider, for example. Well, yeah. It might not necessarily take, or at least especially, a form of, like, a squid or a spider like we know of, especially. They might come from, like, an evolutionary tree that's like that, but, yeah, they'll definitely have a different form, than what, especially we're used to. The structure, life cycle, etc. not connected to the types of challenges we face as us. Yeah. Might encounter extraterrestrial intelligence in a form of machine civilization. That's possible as well. I'm just saying how I know how historically humans have interacted with creatures of lesser development, or other humans of lesser development. Yeah, and it's kind of shitty, and it's not good, and maybe that's something we shouldn't be doing. Even if it's like extraterrestrial life forms. Like, what if, like, Klingon, like, somehow, like, like, lost its way, crash landed here, and we decide to be, like, we're exploiting you and doing weird shit, but there's, like, a homing beacon on its, like, bird of prey or something, and fucking, like, the armada of Klingons start, bombarding Earth. It's like, it's like, is that a good idea? I mean, but, like, anything could probably happen with some shit like that. I don't want to take chances. We should be programmed to be our servants. Why? Like, why not at least study one of them? Or, or at the very least just be curious or leave them alone if they're not on our planet. If they're on our planet, then see what happens. Like, interact with one. I mean, why reprogram them? That you can be doing some kind of bad shit with that. I guess maybe interacting with it you could too, but we'd have to reverse engineer them first. Yeah, which also means you'd have to interact with it. Like, there's a lot of implications to that, right? Like, you can't just reprogram. It's like it's not the same technology as we have, bro. You can't just reprogram it. Like, you can't get some IT nerd, from your local office, to go figure it out. Okay, just saying, you realize that any alien that shows up here is going to be well more than just an equal, but far more superior to us? Have you guys haven't seen Star Trek? I mean, for fucking real, I know, dude. I have. I love it, which is why I usually kind of base, some of my, principles, at least when it comes to space and shit, around the whole Prime Directive idea. Because even for some of the flaws that it has and shit, at least, like, it has a good structural foundation of what, is probably a good idea to do. So, it's like, I don't know. Same point that justifying mistreatment. Talking about us discovering us are more primitive than us. Yeah, Prime Directive, leave them alone. Like, don't fuck with them. Like, I mean, there's no reason to fuck with them. Like, how much more primitive does bacteria count? I mean, that too. So some I can't. Yeah, like, I'm assuming he probably means, like, some civilization, like, maybe nomadic tribes, Bronze Age, maybe even early industrialization level society. Something like that. Like, I'm assuming he means, like, primitive as in, like, you know, what man would be as primal. You know, like, or caveman level shit, even. But, and either way, like, it wouldn't matter to me. Like, Prime Directive, leave them alone. You know, let them evolve naturally. I mean, if they're basically, like, space age level shit, then if they can at least, you know, do warp speed and warp travel, or at least hypothetically have intergalactic travel and shit, then I'd be more open to communication. It hasn't split the atom yet. What if it has? Like, what if it's in that early space age where it sends satellites up and shit like that, split the atom, has nuclear technology, or at least the equivalent of such, and is in that? I mean, you know, kind of the equivalent of, like, you know, the 80s or something. Maybe it's just starting to send, like, its own people out, you know, into space on its own for the first time and shit like that. Like, you know, or equivalent of, like, the Cold War era or something, you know? Like, and we should treat them as such. So, see, that's like... so if they have, like, biplanes and doing trench warfare, like World War I or something like that, then, oh, they're primal and they're, you know, like, and they're, you know, not as sophisticated, even though that's like a 50-year evolutionary difference in technology and time and shit. At least when we're taking into our own consideration of time and shit. It's like, oh my lord, dude, come on. Bruh. Like, either way, like, I mean, even then, I wouldn't necessarily even treat, you know, even with that level as, like, an equal. I would treat it as, like, until they are at least, you know, equivalent of doing early, like, space travel and shit, then don't fuck with them. Someone used to want to mistreat people on uncontacted islands. That's why it's a slippery slope. I mean, it's like the only reason why I guess it's open of a topic is because aliens are implied. I mean, that's why I find it a little like, and that's why I always stay principled, even if it's aliens or other human beings and shit like that, because I think the principle should stay consistent no matter what, even in a hypothetical like aliens or something. Because in my mind, as soon as you let, you know, one of those, you know, bars, you know, slip down and shit, then it's like, that opens the gate, you know, to a lot of other shit. And I'm not exactly in favor of that. I wouldn't mistreat my own species. I mean, but, like, that's kind of the issue, though. Like, the slippery slope is that people use that same type of argument, though, for our own species. Like, I won't mistreat our own species, just them. Even though it's just basically just black people. You know, it's like, I mean, that's the issue. I mean, that's the main reason of the problem with the whole, like, you know, idea, really. It's just like, I mean, yeah, maybe you don't believe that, but that's the issue with the whole slippery slope. It's always and commonly too much use, you know, to slip the, you know, goalpost of like, oh, not just, I guess, for aliens, it would just be for this, you know, group, and then maybe this group, and then this group, and it just goes down the line, depending on how extreme they get. Because they need to be like the superior being, and everything else, you know, underneath, you know, what they deem that is undesirable. That's the problem. That's the issue with it. Space Bridges World Seas. Yeah. Like, you know, Prime Directive. Even though I know that's technically fantasy, I think it actually would be a good set of rules, you know, to go by. Like I said, it has its flaws, but we can adapt to it. Colonial mindset in the space setting. Yeah, when it comes to, like, asteroids and, like, meteors and, like, asteroid belts and things like that, sure. You know, I don't see an issue with that, but, like, when it comes to, like, planetary bodies, like, that needs to be taken into way more consideration. Like, one, can we even fucking be there? Can we even, like, inhabit the planet? Can we, you know, is there other life on it? And is there any resources that are worth a fuck to even be there in the first place? You know, and if there's like a no we can't or yes there is and no there isn't, you know, when it comes to, you know, those set of questions, then fuck off from it, because likely it's not going to be worth the time. But if it's like yes, no, and yes, or at least, yes in the sense that it's just plant life and, there's some basic animal life and stuff like that, like wildlife, like you would see, like, primordial, like, Earth or something like that, like Jurassic Earth and shit. It's like something like that, then sure, I don't necessarily see a major issue being there totally. So you leave resources on the table because the planet has nomadic tribes on it? Yeah. Yeah, to not fuck with the tribes and societies that are establishing and growing and evolving and adapting, yes. Because there's plenty of other orbital bodies out there in the fucking world, galaxy in the universe and shit, for us to go gobble up, like, leave one planet alone ain't a big deal. We can have, like, a little research station, like, somewhere in the solar system to study it. I don't have an issue with that. Like, set something up in, like, an asteroid belt and checking it out and observing it. And, like, I'd be okay with that. To observe, the planet and what's going on. But beyond that, like, yeah, don't leave them alone. Uplift them as client races and use them for manpower. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a few extra steps, from slavery. That sounds like a good idea. No! Do anything in space will be an eternal engineering challenge for any organism. It's not a natural environment for anything. Yeah. So, I think you could probably draw some assumptions from that. Yeah. I think it's possible to recognize that our civilizations should be assumed as threats without actively mistreating and attacking them. I mean, sure. I mean, we can eventually learn that their society is very aggressive and violent and very, like, kill or be killed type of mentality and shit. And if they were to evolve into a modern, rapid technological rate of space traveling and shit, it probably would not be good. But until that time comes, like, there's not really much of a need, to mess with them and shit, because there always is, potential for social adaptation as well in society. So maybe you might, see them and study them in the meantime, but maybe there's, like, an enlightenment shift in society where maybe they change, in some way to where they're not aggressive and, treat things more diplomatically. I mean, like, humanity has shown that it can have, like, there's literally a period called the Age of Reason and the Enlightenment era and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's possible for, maybe violent species, that are evolving and shit to potentially become more peaceful over time because of, similar, events in their, evolution. At least sociologically. It just assumes that anything we might run into will be first illness if they find to, and maybe they just want to reach out peacefully, just like on your side. We just don't know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all hypothetical. It's just all assumption, basically, on, based on how we are, basically. When we, for all we know, like, I mean, there can be a technological fairy alien race that's, very strictly insectoid with everything and are basically like space termites, you know what I mean? Like, but I've figured out, like, these biological, like, space-faring, things, to traverse, around the galaxy and shit to, to collect resources and expand and prosper and so on and so forth and shit, right? So it's like, we don't know. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be the dark jungle theory where there might be, like, some sinister, like, alien race out there that's just waiting for signals, to pop up, and then they go into these planets and shit where there might be other, potential alien races that are evolving and, moving up. And when they get these signals, then these aliens come in and just wipe the planet out. Take all the resources and everything, and then remain dormant for the next, for the next signal to hit up. Yeah, I mean, that it's also kind of a theory as why we, don't really seem like we see signals or, see anything else, because that could be a theory. Like, some planets, that potentially harbor life, maybe did, but, these aliens, came in, wiped most of it out, and are remaining dormant until they get another radio signal. Which, we've sent radio signals out into space, so if they've caught it, they either are on their way, or, about to receive it. So, dun dun dun. races will be transitioned to awareness by means of genetic engineering. Oh my god. And they will adopt the Judeo-Christian values. Yes. Oh boy. Oh, so lovely. Use an insect alien breeding would lead to fairy-looking people. You gotta be with clear butterfly wings coming from the backs, or is it like the fly? Probably like the fly. If speed of light holds firm at this macro level, we're fucked. No way we can do meaningful travel between galaxies. Not between galaxies. In our own galaxy. The closest galaxy we can even remotely even consider potentially, hypothetically, even getting near is Andromeda. Because that galaxy is actually coming to us. So, I mean, if there was a way, like, honestly, the only realistically way, and even if it is possible, would be a wormhole, and even then we don't even know if those, potentially exist, in a sense that we think of. It's 100,000 light years wide. Yep. And Andromeda is like, what? Like 8-something billion light years away? I think it's farther than that, but it's like billions of light years away. Which also, our sun is supposed to like blow up basically at like 6.2 something billion light year, or billion years. So by the time Andromeda shows up to the Milky Way, like, our solar system would be a husk of itself. Like Jupiter, and the rest of the planets will be fine, but pretty much from Mars and everything close to the sun would just be gone, or just like burnt iron little like rock balls that used to be planets. So, but that's a long time from now. So, it's like by that point, if we're able to evolve enough and not be shitbags, then we can eventually not be on the planet anymore in our solar system. So eventually, it should be okay. But like I said, we don't got to worry about it. I mean, the sun's probably going to do some weird shit every now and then, up until that point. But that's what suns do. They be weird like that. It would still potentially take a few thousand years to visit a neighboring star system. Yeah. Well, maybe not like at full speed of light, we could potentially, it would take about however many years it would take, to reach, those star systems. So, like, our closest ones are, like, 6 to 8 some light years away. So we potentially could reach those within, like, our lifetime, so to speak. But, like, we would have to be able to, travel at the speed of light, and if it's even possible to travel faster. Or circumnavigate that somehow. Well, if we tap into the quantum singular source of another civilization has been trying to get a hold of us for a while now, but we didn't develop tech needed to hear them. That could be, possible. What in the fuck? That reminds me, I saw this weird speck by the moon. It wasn't a plane, and in a way it seemed to be in sync with it, and it didn't move away from it either. It just kind of faded and disappeared. That might have been the, it's probably Starlink satellite. No, that could have been, Artemis, maybe. Or a star, a smaller meteor, or maybe a satellite. It could have been Artemis. Oh, I don't know. Did Artemis already land? Did it already, like, land back at home? Artemis, a star. No, the, satellite that we sent to the moon. And then have it come back. What do you think of those emojis? What emojis? A girl just sent me these emojis. Can you decipher? Eggplant. I think something about a dick and wanting to, like, bust some nuts. I think she wants to fuck. I think that's what's going on there. I think she wants to see, some nuts. You know what I mean? I mean, could that be pulled by the moon's gravity? I mean, I don't know. I wonder if you want to. I mean, I have clouds going on right now, so I unfortunately will not be able to see anything going on with the moon. I think it comes back this weekend. Well, maybe that could be it. If it comes back this weekend, then it is coming back to Earth right now, so maybe that was it. Maybe, ooh, I wonder if it was. Because if it was kind of, because he said it was kind of like in sync with the moon a little bit. So, I mean, hey! Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, that will kind of explain it, because if it's coming back from the moon right now, that means it's going to be obviously coming back to Earth, so it's not going to look like it's moving, at all, but the sun reflecting on it will cause a reflection to reflect, light back to us, like the moon does, right? So, that might be it. That might have been it right there. You might have saw a little bit of a speck of Artemis. Just a little speck, but my eyes saw it just because I look at sky at night. Yeah, I like to look. So it's supposed to splash down in the Pacific in 3 days. Oh, does that mean that we might potentially get to see it come through the atmosphere and lands and shit like that? Oh, dude, that'd be fucking dope. That'd be sick. What time of day or night is that supposed to happen? Because that'd be kind of lit. That would be sweet. It would be. So it's magic. I mean, it's not really. It's just like, well, I mean, it's physics. So, I mean, all in all, it's not like exactly, some unique thing. Venom, what the fuck? Till 40 p.m. Eastern Time. So 9:40 a.m. for us. So we might not really be able to get a chance to see it because it'll be daytime. Well, in the morning. So, damn. Damn. So we might not be able to see. Well, I don't know. What if the aliens land with it? The first words of humanity. We'd love to tell you all about the Lord Savior, Space Jesus Christ. Flips the table. Fuck this shit up. Yeah, it's just, Christianity, but in space. Space Christians. Oh no. God damn it, the Christians are right. Fuck! OMG, no. I know, dude. I don't want it. Or are you saying no to what else is going on here? Because I don't know what Venom and Carl are doing, but I'm very concerned. Can't skip religion with species light years more advanced than us. Dude, that would be horrible. Honestly, I will admit. Like, we meet aliens or they interact with us for the first time. And it comes to find out they're religious zealots for, like, their alien god or some shit. It's like, god damn it. We can't escape religion. Even these fucking aliens have a religion. Shit! It turns out there was this one man who ended up owning most of their planet's wealth and put it all into his space missionary program. Oh no. Dude, that'd be horrible. I'd even react like the central... I'd take Venom's approach at that point. It'd be like, no, subjugate them. We're gonna change their ways real quick. One time I went on a date and asked if I could push her stool in like a gentleman, and she said, I don't know, we'll see how the night goes. And they predatored all the atheists on their planets. They predatored all the atheists on the planets. Oh no. Well, it looks like I'm about to get predatored. I don't know if that'd be an honor or fucking just horrible way to go. You know, at least I'd be die trying. I can at least go out and try to die in a blaze of glory. Yes. Yeah, well, hey, I could die in a blaze of glory, die honorably in battle, and also have a very slow, painful, gruesome death. So, you know, hey, it'll all work out. I'll make sure that drum mag gets put to good use. Just killing religious, alien, predator zealots. Bill Hicks is right, the redneck aliens. The redneck aliens, yep. Fucking redneck aliens, man. Goddamn redneck aliens. Boob. Why is there a materialist? What if the aliens are actually us from the future? How about irreligiosity? How do I get off this train altogether? Well, I know right now, at least when it comes to one of the more non-religious / like atheistic countries in the world, the Czech Republic is pretty much like #1 with that right now. Like, they have a lot of churches and stuff, but they're basically like old churches that have been there like since like 1143 AD. You know what I mean? So it's like, and pretty much they only ever really get used for like festivities. So like, you know, Easter, Christmas, blah blah blah. Yeah, like that's pretty much the only time churches are ever like occupied, outside of just like, you know, a tourist being like, "Ooh, look at that pretty art in here." So probably the Czech Republic. That'd probably be your place. Like Denmark or something. Yeah, Denmark too. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like, at least #1. Czech Republic, I think, is #1. I think they hold, you know, the #1 title still. There's other countries up there, though. Denmark, I think, Norway's another one. I think, like, just any of the Baltic countries, like Finland, you know, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. I think, like, any of those countries. Like, I mean, a lot of Europe tends to be pretty highly religious, you know, but obviously it varies. But I think at least for the most, I know the Czechs are the first, and then it's like, you know, some of the Nordic countries, and I think the Baltics primarily, but I think France too, but I'm not too sure. Aliens gotta believe that faith healing. Don't worry, these crystals slowly work. A bunch of accounts I could create around the same time said so. Well, honestly, if it's for aliens, I mean, they probably harness the technology in a way to, like, harness some shit in crystals, so they probably do have a way to heal themselves with that shit. It wouldn't work on us, but it works for them. God damn it, the crystal healing wine moms had a point. It's just not, it just doesn't work for them. It just works for the aliens. So they're wearing all these, like, crazy crystals and all this, like, drip, you know, and this jewelry and blinging up and all sorts of crystals and shit. You know, like a crazy fucking psychopathic wine mom, you know, chakra crystals. The order crystals from Earth. Well, yeah, I mean, if they show up here, they're definitely gonna, yeah, they don't have to, like, exploit the plant. They're like, oh, we could just order all the crystals from Amazon. We could just have the humans exploit it for us. We could just do it for, they could do it for us. Easy. Alright, we shall order all the chakra crystals on Amazon. All the wine moms just start getting pissed. They had healing pools. I'm sure that could be a possible thing, even in our own reality, like, you know, some sort of, like, healing gel or something that you just have to sit in a pool of. But, you know, like, it'd probably still take a while for something like that to happen. I mean, like, sitting in pools of different things, like, you know, shit actually, you know, does have good properties, you know, to do and stuff. Like, if you sit in, like oil pools and stuff like that sometimes. Not like, you know, like fossil oil, but, you know, like, if you're in, like, coconut oil bath or something like that, like, you know, that's good for you, you know, so. I was watching a scary movie too earlier. I laughed my ass hard. The part where the parrot told Bane his mama's sweet ass. Oh my god. What is up with this chat? Why is it a roller coaster? We're not even 2 hours into this. Yeah, you. What's up, little punk? You know, it's not having rolled over us. I can't believe you already managed to make them willing to work horrible conditions. Actually, it was like this before we got here. Yeah, they didn't have to do anything. They already had the systems and material conditions in place for us to easily exploit them without doing anything. All we had to do was just bribe their leaders. It was actually very easy. In fact, they covered it up, so now most of the human population is not even aware that it even happened in the first place. And it's literally status quo, as business as usual. Damn. Good shit. I like that. Alright. Allow the maximization of our chakra crystals to be, used from this planet. Then slowly we can figure out how to depopulate them by feasting upon their meats. The succulent human meats. To fuel our species further. They relied on some kind of... on what... some of them called their best minds. We killed them in seconds. Sounds like Shapiro. I'm not trying to sound like Shapiro. I'm just having a robotic monotone voice. Because I don't know. This is how I think that aliens in this particular society would sound like. Very monotone. What kind of coexistence will happen with an alien race? I mean, depending on the alien race, I'd be totally okay with, butt stuff happening. Just saying. Like, I mean, depending on the aliens, depending on the cut of their jib and what type of, alien poom-poom's going on, I'd be down for that, It's like, alright. Hey, I mean, there's, some level of sentience going on here where it's just we're at least on an equivocal level. If anything, you're probably more superior in sentience to I am, so, Grunt from Half-Life? Not Grunt. No. I love to see that. Aliens come. Every Musk fan is like, help us, Elon! And then he would seal himself in a bunker, never to be seen again. Oh, that'd be great. I was hoping you would watch that, bust out laughing, Lamau. This dog is just like, what the hell? Going from Mass Effect. No. No. We're gonna turn more than that. Dude, that's not gonna happen. I already know that's not gonna happen. Alien Mass Effect, you mean Ass Effect? Oh my fucking god, what's going on right now? What is... We're losing our Y chromosomes in a few million years, so you're kind of right. We're just gonna become Uno gender. The Uno sex. There will be no XY or XX, it'll just be X. Uno sex. We'll be the Uno sex species. We would simply just have the X chromosome. The fuck are you doing, my dude? See his bottle? You see his bottle right here, son? Get bonked on the head, bitch. Yeah, get flexed on. Yeah, what you gonna do, bitch, huh? Yeah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, boy? Little prick. They want emails. Well, there's like different animal species that are literally just one biological sex. Like there's all female lizards and shit like that. I mean, shit, like in regular nature, there's, you know, female slash like, you know, one biological like sex species, you know, that, you know, exists. So, also want to fuck at least. Oh my god. Why is this turning into like an alien fuck session here? Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, goddamn. Fuck a flood? What the what is wrong with you? Oh my god, why? Why is this happening? Rose's just silent. He's just hidden away. He hid himself in the closet. He's just like, I'm scared. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna hide in this little closet and just hope it's over. Tentacles are tentacles. I was looking up what a flood was. Well, they're like it's honestly probably the worst things, you know, when it comes to you know, an alien that you wish to fuck, because they are like a parasitical like virus species that infects you and basically makes you a zombified flood creature. Welp. Yeah. See what I mean? See what the fuck I mean? See, I see, this is why we stray away from God. This is why, you know, this is why God doesn't help us. Like, this is why, you know, God's light shines further away, and we have been led astray. Brothers in Christ, this is why. Green Mind's got, oh my fucking god. See what I mean? Man, I'm not high enough for this. It doesn't matter if it's some pulsating multi-tentacle abomination that drives people mad with just a glance. Some people will just fuck without hesitation. Yep. Pretty much. Some people just straight have the mindset of if there's a hole, there's a goal. I thought the flood was a literal allegory of allegory of the literal flood from the Bible. I mean, maybe. I don't fucking know. I thought it was more like allegory to like a plague, you know, or something like that, like the Black Plague or some shit. But it literally made it. But it's merely made it lava. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna fuck it. Actually, they are. Oh, really? Oh. Well, shit, I did not know that. Okay, that has a lot of religious overtones. Well, yeah, the Covenant. Like, they're a religious zealot alien empire. So, yeah, I mean, I know there was, like, a lot of religious overtones to it. Not giving a fuck would be a weird thing to say during sex because you are giving a fuck. Yeah. That would be kind of fun. Okay. What? Oh my fuck. Covenant doesn't offer humanity a spot in their alliance because we as humans can interact with Forerunner tech in ways they can't. So they're just like, nah, we're not gonna let you be in here because, you know, you can do this and we can't. Fuck you. Ugh. It's kind of another stupid thing about religious zealotry. It's just like, you know, some of it is also on, you know, kind of ironically, you know, legit kind of envy, even though in a lot of religious, you know, background, you know, being envious is kind of seen as a bad thing. It's, you know, which it's funny because they tend to be pretty envious of things that they're incapable of doing because of various different reasons. Mainly because of a lot of the technological stunting that they would have, you know, being in a very regressive idea in, you know, society. You know, they wouldn't necessarily have, you know, certain capabilities and shit, while other races or other, you know, beings or, you know, technologically, or societies technologically would be able to. So there ends up being a sense of envy because of that. It's fall apart because we can use their holy technology and they can't. Yeah. Which kind of undermines the broader point of their theology. Hence it fall apart. You know, being able to see the chat too makes me feel dead-edged sword sometimes. It can be. It really can be. Excuse me, Halo 2 comes in about Covenant starts to break down because it lie at the core of the religion is exposed. Ooh. Covenant and Combine are both interspecies empires. Yeah, the Covenant has, like, different species within its empire. I mean, because it's a broader alliance, like Venom was talking about earlier. I feel good. Probably a good idea to have one of these. This one in Halo 3, the elites are on our side. Like the Combine from Half-Life. Well, I know the Combines from Half-Life. I said the Covenant specifically. I mean, I don't know much about the Combine, so I can't really say anything about that. See something, and it's like, holy shit, that's funny, and then you see another thing, and it's like, why? Why did my eyes fall upon these words, and why did my brain translate them into imagery? Dude, especially when you have a very creative brain like I do. A very vivid imagination ends up for unfortunate results. Well, what was that there, you little ball malarkey? Come here. Come here, boy. Oh, Bubba. 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 Hello. What? Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't just constantly be pawing at me. Eh, 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 eh. Paw? You're so goofy. You're so silly. You're so silly. He's so cute. He's just like, what the fuck? There you go. It's so goofy. I love the little pup. You're still a menace to society, though. Because that's it. Maybe I'm still shy as fucking even sure I'm not making a mistake before I try anything. Oh, Lamau. I forgot the name of that dude, but in the words of that one guy who said to Bill Clinton, it's like, you're a naughty, naughty boy, Bill. You're a naughty, naughty boy. A nasty, naughty boy. I don't know what that guy's name was, but I remember when he said that, I'm just like, well, that guy is flamingly gay. Yes. And he said that to fucking, like on CNN or some shit. I was just like, what the fuck? What are you saying? It's like, what in the fuck are you doing? It's like, my dude. Telling ignorance nasty as I may be here, I'm a shy boy in IRL. I mean, I tend to be pretty shy too. Well, maybe not really shy, but just kind of reclusive. An introvert. I mean, honestly, usually the anxiety and shyness comes in if I usually don't know what to say. You in a wheelchair? Why would he be in a wheelchair? He does, like, work every now and then and shit, like, where he's at, every, you know, so it's like, I think that's the reason why he's staying up. I'm like, what the? Sit up, you're causing this to shake. Autism is a mental wheelchair? Oh my god, no it's not. It happens to me, I just punched the person I'm talking to. Yeah. That tends to work usually sometimes. Autism my whiteness ruined my life. Oh my god. No, it has not. No, it has not. Good lord. Don't be like that. ADHD, bipolar, and autism is a fun cocktail of mental illness. Well, I mean, hey, if you mix the cocktail right, it can be manageable. Think about it this way. At least you ain't fucking, like, you know, Adolf Blitler, you know? So, you ain't him. At least you ain't that guy. At least, you know, something. Wise to go. Same here. I burn the sun. So do I. I too also burn heavily in the sun. Look like a lobster. Up Illinois. Up Illinois. Hitler did one thing right. He did Hitler, and now it's worthy of respect. I mean, that's not really, because, I mean, he didn't give that respect to somebody else. Like, someone else should have had that respect, not him. Like, fuck him. Hitler killed Hitler? Like, nah, dude, that should have been somebody else. Should have been, like, Private, McManson or something like that, or, or like, Tovarish, Nikolai, or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? It should have been like, some son of a bitch like that. Okay, even hypothetically, if he somehow escaped Berlin and, like, survived after World War II, even hypothetically, with that in mind, he would definitely be fucking dead by this point, okay? There ain't no way he's, like, over 100-something fucking years old, nah. Like, I mean, even with that in mind, because even with all of his health problems, he would live at least up until, like, 1960 or something, likely about. I mean, that's what they speculate, is that, Hitler, even if he did survive and, like, fled to Argentina or something, he only would have lived up until about, like, the mid to late 60s because of his, illnesses and shit. So he wouldn't, survive that long, and in fact, he'd, kind of have a very horrible, like, end of his life. We haven't heard the full story about Hitler. Like, in what way? I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, you could find a general, like, all the general information about Hitler's, like, life and shit. Like, I'm pretty sure we have a general idea about, like, his life upbringing and how he thought and stuff like that. I mean, sure, there's not, like, every little puzzle, there, you can't literally be in his head, but, like, we have a general, I think, idea about, like, the full story of Hitler, you know what I mean? Like, I think we have about, like, a 90% general good synopsis, of the whole idea. Like, the other 10%, sure, could be a little speculative. Like, sure, it's, like, open theory about, like, what truly happened with his body after he died and blah, blah, blah. There's some theories, that can be propped up. Sure, I can understand that. But, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we have a general fucking idea about how his life was. No British soldier could have shot Hitler in World War I, but didn't. I'm well aware of this information. And also, he did like one particular Jew, and that happened to be the doctor that was helping his mother with her cancer and shit. He considered him a, quote, noble Jew, basically. Even in his weird fucking, like, hyper crazy anti-Semitic bullshit, like, even with that in mind, there is, like, good Jews, when it comes to that shit, the noble ones. Which, curiously enough, Kanye also seems to be espousing, because he's also, like, while being hyper anti-Semitic, also saying that he apparently also loves Jews. So, he never really specifically specifies, but Hitler probably at least did, at least, when it came to one person. That was pretty much it. That obviously does not excuse anything that he did. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of a weird thing I've noticed. Like, there's always, like, room for one noble Jew, basically, in their mind, where it's like, oh, they're the good one. It's like the token character, basically. And that's kind of why Ben Shapiro's propped up by a lot of these, type of people, even though they don't like him, at the end of the day still, because he's kind of more of a means to an end, because he's the good one. He's one of the good, yeah, basically, that's essentially the summary of it. It's like, that one is a good one, that's okay. He also loves National German Worker Party as members. Everyone deserves respect, right? As long as they're willing to give that back, but, the National Socialist German Workers' Party and, Nazis and the Silver Legion and shit like that, like, they don't get that. Like, I see, that's the difference. Like, I agree with, like, everyone deserves all respect. within reason if they're willing to bring that back to bring that back, like, and do the same. Like, if not, then why should I give out to them if they're gonna, be, a piece of shit, be like, oh, well, fuck you because of X, Y, or Z or some arbitrary thing. Then it's like, well, I don't got, you ain't giving me a reason to have love and respect, so. Kanye claims the Holocaust is actually peaceful and respect. Was that from the Gavin McInnes interview and shit? Because I kind of want to see the full thing that, Hassan did on it, because that kind of got him banned a little bit. And so it's a spicy meatball. So I definitely want to kind of check it out. I don't know. Well, he met with Gavin McInnes and, another fucking sad, pathetic Nazi that actually has gotten very irrelevant since, like 2017, so. And, so honestly kind of, surprised that he's, kind of mentioned, but, nonetheless, not really, like, too surprised either, because, due to his relevance, mainly because he is literally a fucking neo-Nazi. That's just a little baby spillage, but not a lot. That's good, at least. Flipped right side up. Kanye is unironically bullying people. Yeah, and that's a fucking problem. Like, there's literally, like, in Germany, like, a major arrest of, like, far-right neo-Nazis, like, literally called, like, the Reichsbürger, which basically translates, like, to the children of the Reich, which, I wonder what that sounds like, and so, it's like, And also, a lot of those type of people apparently also believed in similar QAnon conspiracies, and that were adjacent here in the U.S. and shit. And there was, like, one dude named Heinrich the 13th or some shit that also, apparently comes from, like, a line of aristocratic, like, conservative German family or some shit, so. Yeah, that's Peachy King. And apparently some of them used to work in the military and would fucking, like, straight up, like, be either active or former military members, and would try to coerce, like, some cops and military officials to join their cause and shit. It had, like, straight up, like, a day, set up and everything. But I guess they maybe asked one too many people because, they got ratted out because there was mass arrests on them. Like I said, like, at least 25 of them were arrested and shit. And then, of course, like I said, there's been a mass, like, from earlier, like, mass attacks, of the far right and shit in various different places throughout the U.S., mainly, against the LGBT. So there's that going on, too. So, yeah, they're heavily being fucking emboldened and shit. Like the maneuver for help and choke. Wait, what? So it'd be so refreshing if they were songs. We hate you because you're different, no religious reason, no pseudo-intellectual bullshit, just good old-fashioned tribalism. Like the maneuver for help and choking people. It's so strange. Wait, what? Oh my fucking... Permanent. The prime directive. I mean, there you go. Jesus Christ. Why is aliens get involved in everything? Goddamn. Must aliens be, like, in every single thing there, sir? To intervene in lives. Change the government. I mean... I'm pretty sure there's, like, a Star Trek episode about this, and I'm pretty sure it was, like, basically, because of alien intervention, it actually consequently helped the Nazis. Like, not the other way around. So, I really don't know about that there, my dude. That'd be the ultimate twist, because suspect him to least. I'm pretty sure he might be an alien. promise I'm a human. That's what you want us to think. Can I help you? Can I help you a little, please, sir? I are not reptilian disguised as a human. That is what they want to say. Hold up. Venom, this one's for you. I need to find it though. Where is it? Here we go. Where are you? Need to find the song. Because I know you appreciate it. Here we go. I was trying to get away from being shocked and ignorant, as asked for seriousness. I mean, not full of seriousness. Just not too much absurdity, I guess. Not as much chaoticness. Because I'm only out here trying to steal a UFO, okay? So we're, you know, that's fun. Not being so serious. But at the same time, you gotta be serious. Can't lick me that song. Hold on. You can't find it anymore? It's still on YouTube. Here, check your Discord. It's still up. Six? Really? You know what? The government is algorithm suppressing it. Which just, that means it's true. Ain't medical. Just to see what happens. Checkpoints and the pyramids of Giza. My sisters are unironically loves the song. Nice. Dude, that's pretty dope. I also kind of wish that Jareth Gawain made some more beats, or at least published more of them. He's very sporadic when he uploads his stuff. And every now and then he'll upload something, but then he'll like unlist it or put it on private, and it's like, it's like it was such a banger. Sometimes he'll drop a banger, but then I guess for some reason we'll just like, he was homeless now. Oh, is Jareth like straight homeless? I thought, well, I know Marshall Manson is. Like Jareth Gawain, no, Marshall Manson, well, he doesn't go by that anymore. I think his real name was Andrew, but yeah, he's homeless. I don't know what happened with him. That's the last time I heard, which I really do hope he's doing okay. That guy was cool. I always like chilling with him. I think there was only like one time ever that he popped in on stream once and said what's up, but I think it was really just like only one time ever. He's homeless. I thought he was crashing with people. Well, I'm assuming that's what he's doing. I mean, being homeless, I mean, also, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean he's literally living in a tent. I mean, he could be crashing, you know, couch to couch, you know, with homies and stuff like that. Which, I know he's married, so I'm assuming that he at least has some form of, you know, ability to at least have a roof over his head, even if he has to kind of, like, you know, couch surf a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully he's, you know, doing better than he was, you know, when he, you know, was initially homeless and shit. Because, I mean, I'd like to, you know, see, you know, him kind of get back into the music scene a little bit. Because I know he wanted to eventually get back into that, you know, as, like, kind of a different, you know, like as kind of a different alias, you know, at some point. But, obviously, because of being homeless and all this other shit, you know, that can't exactly do that. So, I mean, I feel bad for him. Because he's a really fucking talented dude. Like, I remember, I forgot the name of the song, but, like, he made a really good, like, professionally made music video that, honestly, was really fucking good. For just, like, him and, like, you know, a couple of his buddies making it. Man, you are not gonna let up with this. Alright, fine. I'll watch this damn thing.
Little? I'm not little. I'm hung like a bull, lady. Check it out. You ever seen a bird neck this big? Too much for you, huh, baby?
Yeah.
All right, well, step off then, sweet cheeks. Come back when you want some real love.
Hey.
Fucking tease.
Hey! Hey there, little guy. How you doing?
Fuck off, Four Eyes.
I beg your pardon?
I said, fuck off, Four Eyes.
I ought to kick your ass.
Hey, relax, son. It's just a bird. I know, birdie. Polly want a cracker?
Polly wants your mama's sweet ass.
What did Polly say to me?
I said, Polly wants your mama's sweet ass.
You don't talk about my mama, son. You don't know my mama, son.
I know your mama. I fucked her last night.
You want me? I'll fuck you up.
Oh, I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
Oh, nah, fuck this. I'm handling this shit like gentlemen. Yo, hold my tooth, son.
Hey, come on, bitch. You want that welcome back Cotter haircut? Want a piece of me? Come on, bring it on.
What? You hardcore? Give me some.
Come on, bitch.
Nah. What? No, you gonna talk?
Let me out of here. Come on, sissy. Let me out of here. I'll fuck you up.
It's taken me a while to get over it, but
What the fuck? What the hell? I mean, parrots could technically, like, you know, be taught to do that. And also, I know that as much as Andrew Jackson is kind of a piece of shit, he had a parrot that apparently was so fucking vulgar that during his funeral they had to make the parrot leave because it was being too vulgar. So, like, parrots can certainly do that and act like that. And I also find it funny that Andrew Jackson had such a vulgar parrot that they had to escort it out. Imagine just a few sharply dressed gentlemen just carrying this parrot, being like, "Go fuck yourself, let's go fuck of you in your asshole," or some shit like that, or whatever the fuck. Just some parrot just yachting off like that, or whatever. It's like, "Yeah, go blow your arse." Alright? What parrot that roasts people that walk? Well, that's probably what Jackson's parrot was doing. It's like, "What? We got TV on it." Probably some shit like that.
Cleveland left.
Yeah, don't do anything to ruin this, Peter. You know the way you ruined my parrot? I just bought it yesterday. Isn't it beautiful? Cripple, 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 cripple! Damn it!
Oh no. Oh. Damn. It was probably a racist parrot because Andrew Jackson was a traitor. Yeah. No, he probably was. That's why I was, keeping it at least a little bit more about, like, go fuck off you asshole, or whatever the hell. Like, I don't know what, like, vulgarity was, like, back in the late 1700s, it's, like, I'm sure, like, the go fuck yourself was, some variation of that existed. I mean, I don't know what, but I'm sure it did. Instead of ass, I'm sure it was more like arsehole or something like that. I don't know. or you bumhole or whatever. I don't know. See, like, I mean, whatever their vulgarity was, I mean, you know, like, that's what it was. Which honestly would be very humorous at this point, you know, these day and age. I'm probably dropping out words. Yeah, probably. Oh, dude, absolutely. I'll just imagine that in the voice of a parrot, and while it's horrible, it's strangely just like morbidly amusing. It's like fucking shitty ass parrots, dude. Or I guess shitty ass people teach a parrot shitty ass things. Why would someone do this? Stung by 200 angry yellow jackets? What the fuck is wrong with this guy, dude? Dude, this dude does shit like this. Like, he'll get bit and stung by different things, and just for the sake of doing it. It's like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck, guy? God, fuck. Any famous story? He actually had a TV show at one point. Like, I knew of him before he had his TV show, and then I think, like, I don't think it was Nat Geo. I think it was like it wasn't Animal. I think it was either like Discovery or the Science Channel, one of those channels. But they gave him a channel, like a TV show for a little bit. I don't think it lasted long, but you know, I think they called it the same thing, Brave Wilderness or whatever. Cause yeah, the guy's name's Coyote Peterson, and he just does shit like this. Once went to the zoo and Perry asked me why I was eyeballing him over and over. Why are you eyeballing me? It's probably because, you know, someone said that to the parrots. Like, why are you eyeballing me? Oh my god, this guy fucking does... Dude, I decided to click the video. Oh my fucking god. Oh, sweet God Jesus. Oh, sweet Lord. Sweet Lord. Sweet mama and child, why you do this? Why you do this? Oh my god, he's put his fucking hand in there. Jesus Christ. Oh my god! Okay, why did I click? Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? Now he's like, hey, let's get bit by centipedes and all this other shit. Like, God, motherfuck, why did I click that? Why? I heard the screams. I heard the terror. I heard the buzzing. Oh, why did I click it? Okay, yep, yeah, it's, why, oh my god, fucking giant, okay. That... Okay, get this fucking thing off the screen. Okay, we get stung by a blue-ringed octopus and a harpoon snail. As you can see, I'm already laying in a coffin because no one thinks I'll survive. But y'all know how your boy is, dude. Dude, that guy is just, he just does shit like that. I mean, I'm sure his body's like immune to all the fucking venom and shit at this point, but like, the pain is just as real as it is as if your body wasn't. So, but God, like, why? Why? I just knew that the most replayed part, like, I'm kind of glad YouTube has that, but it, you know, like, because it makes it quicker to find where, obviously, the most played section of that video was going to be, which was him sticking his fucking hand in there. Dude, it didn't even take long. Dude, they were all, dude, oh my god, it's like they sensed it. They already knew he was fearful of it when he, you know, had his hand in that weird, like, glove cotton thing, you know, to at least keep them from escaping, they sensed it. They were all up against it. And when he slowly opened it, they were like unleashed. He didn't even open it fully and get his hand all the way in there before they started going full ham, dude. Like, they sensed that shit. They sense that shit. They're fucking evil little bastards. Ugh. God, oh my, dude, that was terrifying, honestly. Like, I have, like, third person fear from that shit, dude. Like, oh my god. It's like, goddamn, fuck that, dude. Ugh. It's like that I kind of get they're at least kind of vital for the ecosystem to an extent, but like, goddamn, bro. No. No. Look at you, such a baby. You keep, like, bumping up against this, dude. It's a little ridiculous. What, is the chair not comfy for you or something? This dog's weird. This dog is weird. Perfectly good chair for you, sir. And yet that's where you choose to be. It's right here. Like, God, this dog is ridiculous. Ay. South Park Van Halen. Yeah, the one thing that maybe religiosity, you know, might be able to, you know, come together with Van Halen. I honestly loved this fucking, this scene of shit. Basically, it's like what, in Jerusalem, like, what caused all the Abrahamic beliefs to just come together as Van Halen. I loved it.
Today begins the new Israel. Today, we are all united as one. Shacham Balada. Now, let us celebrate under one symbol.
I love this. And everyone's just like, "Wah!" No way! Epic!
The party is officially underway. Jews, Christians, and Muslims have united.
They have united.
Of Van Halen. Out in the crowd, people.
They use real footage. Using real footage of protests and things. I love it. Just because it's Van Halen, I'm gonna just stop right there. Just because it's Van Halen. I'd love to keep playing it though. I love it though. If only it was that easy. It's like, yeah, just get Van Halen on tour out in Israel. That's how you do it. It's like, if only it was that fucking easy. Why? What is up with this mud? Why? Why are you right there? Yeah. I was hoping you would sit there. Oh my god. It's concrete. Like, what the it's cold. I don't get it. Why? What? Whatever. It's kind of like, you know, when you see a cat sitting in a spot you really don't understand because it looks like it should be severely uncomfortable to the cat, but it's like, if I fits, I sits, and the cat does that, don't give a shit. That's essentially is like what this dog is doing right now. is doing the equivalent of if I fits, I sits. Because he fits here in this little weird spunk of concrete that's cold as shit and should be uncomfortable for him, but yet he sits. I don't give a fuck. He's so weird. Why are you a weird boy? You's a weird boy. If I fit shits. Well, luckily he doesn't do that. The only time he did that recently was when, for some reason, he didn't go poo when I let him outside before work. And because I was running late, I didn't have time to just wait for him to do that. So I noticed that there was a spot next to the door when I came back from a lunch break. And I was kind of upset. Especially considering I had to deal with that. But, I mean, I couldn't really blame him, though. I mean, you know, like I said, he was holding it in, poor boy, but, you know, no one was around to let him out, so it was right next to the door, so I could tell that he was wanting out, but I just couldn't. It was our fun. Yeah, Zukov's experienced that once or twice before, too. Sometimes he'll go after a bone, like, he'll get, like, you know, a big bone of some sort and shit, and he'll eat most of it. And, like, straight up, get hardcore constipation the next day. One time, it straight up, like, launched him like a fucking, like, he was like an artillery projectile and shit, like a 152 millimeter bone, you know, like, you know, it's just like, kaboom! You know, like, I straight saw him, like, boom, like, have a little hop. After, like, I saw this fucker, like, launch, like, 3 fucking feet. It was like a howitzer, dude. It was like, what the fuck? I was actually kind of shocked and impressed at the same time. I was like, god damn, bro. I had to go over to investigate for a second, and I was like, damn. Like, I saw why, because, I mean, like, if they have, like, if a dog eats, like, a big hunk of bone, basically, and pretty much, like, nothing really else, it straight up will kind of leave, you know, like, you know, mostly, like, kind of like this chalkiness sometimes, and, you know, get him a little constipated and stuff. So basically, like, it was that, and then just everything else he ate the rest of the day, just, like, waiting to be unleashed, but it just ended up becoming, like, a straight fucking howitzer, basically, like a howitzer shell. You know, and it was just like, Jesus. I mean, that's about as vague as I could put it without being too visceral of detail, so... Because, I mean, I was, like, impressed and shocked at the same time. I was, like, I had to go over and pat him and, you know, kind of comfort him and be like, you okay, buddy? Because he kind of looked a little, like, exhausted, like, Jesus, like, you know, like, woo! I have to take a breather from that one. Like, I kind of saw it, I saw the look on his face. It was like, damn, bro. It has happened a couple times on him. Maybe not, like, to such a severity, like, the one time I'm mentioning, but he's had a few times where he wasn't exactly, you know, doing 100%. But luckily, he usually has pretty good, healthy little poops, so. And you're usually a pretty good, healthy boy. You're just a menace that likes to shred everything. You're like a little tiger shark. And that's ridiculous. They like big bones. I do like big bones. What, was there something I said there, you little prick? Are you offended? Do you need your little safe space, Zukov? Is that it? Little bitch. Did he just unleash something? Is that why he ran off? You know why he's so sexy? I don't fucking know. I don't do anything in particular. I don't know, I just exist, I guess. It's the hat. It's the hat. Just a trusty old hat. I mean, I have various hats, though. That's the thing. I have, like, a lot of different hats that are available. Like, vaguely like Lennon. No. No, I don't. I mean, like, this hat isn't exactly like a Lennon hat. What the fuck is this deal? Yeah. Not exactly. Pretty sure, like, Lennon had a different hat going on. It's a hat of the proletariat. Oh my god. I mean, not exactly. There's like, I mean, I guess so. I mean, there's like all sorts of hats that could be like that. Boo boo. Boo boo boo. Boo boo. Be booed by the girl who was down Smash with you. Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, well, I mean, when you propose it like that, I mean, why wouldn't I? I mean, I'd definitely at least be, you know, down with that, at least like a little bit, you know, be like, alright, hey, let's see what's going on with that. Big booty goth girl, alright. I mean, it's like, it's like, yeah. I mean, like, you should rephrase that as a statement. She expects you to cuddle afterwards. Awesome. Like, you said that like it was supposed to be a bad thing. Is there, like, some other is there other expectations to this? What other red tape do I have to deal with? Phil's staring at me, dude. You're a freak. That would explain it. She's also vaguely spiritual and likes to smoke sage to keep spirits away. Okay. Okay, let's really raise stakes. Can't pull out and 50% chance to become her baby daddy. Oh, God, 50% chance? Oh, dude, man, you really raised the stakes. God damn. Fuck. Alright, that one's really tough. Man, you really just made it so, like, okay, alright, do I really say yes to that? Do I still say yeah, I'm still down to that? Because I most certainly am not about, like, wanting kids. That's seriously, like, some no bueno shit. Man, I don't know. Man, you really raised that. That wasn't just a, like, you know, it wasn't like you just raised the stakes. You just, like, went all in on that shit. How would parenting be? You just need to hug them and feed them once in a while. Those two things should be reversed. I mean, the thing is, though, like, there's so many fucking. I don't know. You're really making it, like, you're really turning me off to this. I don't think so at this point. Because, like, the idea of, like, oh, I mean, what's wrong with it here? And, like, I mean, come on, well, how bad could all that be? You know, you have to, like, feed the kid a little bit, like, hug it, change its shitty-ass fucking diapers, I'll constantly stay awake, like, basically for, like, pretty much all but, like, 4 hours of a day. I mean, like, it sounds great. But that's hardcore conservative expects you to marry her after you bang. Then fuck no. Okay, there's a no on this. Now that's just a flat no. Like, that just ain't happening. So, yeah, I think, you know, if we're gonna be raising the stakes that much, then no. That sure shit ain't happening. I didn't know you could do this, but I signed you up. Then I said you guy to be someone's godfather. What? I don't know if that's how it works. Like, I don't think you can actually do that. Also signed you up for a social bank account. Great. Awesome. Sweet. When I take advantage of that. Where's my money for that? Oh, that's just good. How come I don't get any out of this? Boo. I was gonna ask if he had a deal for one's boyfriend catching him, but I can never sleep with someone in a relationship. This won't feel right. But yeah, I've never done that or been in a situation like that, so. Disclaimer. Legal disclaimer. The feelings expressed here are not ignorance of my true beliefs, or exactly what happened, either. Last ex hooked up with until she left her ex for me. Damn.
Okay, Schnoz.
Gotta love that shit. Boo. Then 8 months later, someone else does that to me.
Don't back up and be right in the way. Out of the way.
Sick off. Come here. Yeah. Hey, you. You little boob. Hey. Little boob. Yeah, come on. Hey. Hey, sit. Come on. Yeah. Little boob. Yeah, alright. Hello. Hello. Who's a sweet boy? Yes, you is. Yeah, you love those little head screeches. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah. Those are so little. What, now you want some chin scritches? Oh my god, you're a fucking needy little bitch. Oh my god, really? Are you serious right now? Oh my fucking god. Oh my lord. I get it. Jesus. How much head scratching can you take? It's okay though, I destroyed that pussy. Like I literally destroyed it. Apparently I was 3 times the size of Rex. Oh. Damn. Well, she definitely must have been murked. Jesus. Silly little dog. Ugh. It's kind of a weak burp. Boo. Lame. Weak ass burp. You need to work on that burping game. 8 out of 10 would recommend. It feels the best, so why is it an 8 out of 10? Seems that there's a little bit of some stipulations to that there a little bit there. Just a little bit. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you trying to like wait, hey, wait.
Hey, yeah, you. Hi. Yeah, you. You're occupying a space that is interrupting my space.
You absurd boy. Oh my god. Like straight, any shaking that he's doing is like straight up him. God, you silly fucking goof. You know, will this help? Scooch it closer. Will that help? Okay, I think that did. At least for now, until he decides to scoot himself closer. Oh god, he just moved. Okay, no, he moved further away. Good. I sadly did not know it. I would like to experience this with a... Wait, I never slept with a woman who was at least chunky. Is that a problem? With a skinny woman one day, but I sadly don't know it, because I only have... Well, because honestly, it's Alabama. They're, like, having a, like, healthier lifestyle that, you know, would more likely make you skinny and shit is probably not exactly a common thing. You know, that's easy to have access to and shit. So, with that, you know, probably going to be, you know, more on the chunky side, you know, living somewhere in Bama. But, either way, is that a bad thing, necessarily, you know, being a little chunky? No. I mean, if anything, sometimes it's just a lot of different other factors, like genetic factors and shit, that could play a role. So... Ugh. Ooh, damn, that felt good. It was a fucking nuts, but then I'm like some man mentally ill. Oh my lord. Well, that's a very blunt way of putting it. Kind of a little bit of a mean way of doing it too. It's like, damn, bro. It's like, hey, having a little bit of cray and a little bit of chunk is okay, but I mean, it's like, damn, bro. Being going out here throwing ice out. Damn. You're as cold as ice. You haven't been chased by a crazy girl trying to carve her name into you like I have? Yeah, because I'm not looking for that fucking level of crazy. Because that is not just like, you know, hey, I like him a little crazy. That's just like, no, that person's like legit fucking like crazy. You probably don't want to be near that. Because having a little bit of craziness is okay and shit. Like, I mean, if there's like a little bit of spice, you know, in the stew, so to speak, I mean, that's all good, you know, that's fine. But there straight up really is like a line in the sand where it's just like, nah, they're just straight fucking crazy, and you don't want to be near that. Shit, she was claiming me. Yeah, see, that's something you don't want to be near around. That's... I guess for some people that truly is their thing, but, like, I mean... I don't know, dude. Yeah, there's just a line in the sand, I think, where it's like, even if there's something about it where you're kind of into that a little, it's just like, you know... It's, you know, line in the sand, you know? You just have to draw the line somewhere. This free boy ain't no one claiming him. Exactly. See what I mean? Even you got a line in the sand. So you want to tattoo a lover's name on you? Fuck no. Hell no. Oh, well, that's bad luck in my opinion. Yeah, that usually never turns out well. Like, unless I'm, like, basically with this person for, like, 20 years of my life or some shit, then sure. But if it's, like, oh, we've known each other for, like, at most, like, 6 months or, like, a year or, you know, we just love each other, you know, whatever, then you do it, then it's like, that's some bad voodoo, don't do that. That's a big mistake. I mean, like I said, if it's like, you know, y'all been going strong for like 20-something years, and, you know, it's like 20th anniversary or some shit like that, I mean, I could get something like that at that point, but, like, I mean, you know, like I said, if it ain't something like that, then it's just some bad voodoo, likely. I can see somebody, you know, who's in, like, a 20-year relationship, and like, yeah, you know, I decided to get, you know, like, you know, a lover's tattoo and stuff like that, you know, with me and my partner, and blah, 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 you know, and if anything, it'd be like, oh, that's kind of cute, you know, so it's like, I mean, you know, it's, at that point, it's whatever, but, you know, if it's like, oh, yeah, me and my partner for, like, 2 weeks, you know, decided to get lover's tattoos, it's like, what? Yeah, man, I do want to get B and a J on the shoulders and stand next to each other and be BJ. BJ would be the first letter of our respective names. Well, see, at least that's a little funny. And plus, at least, you know, it's, you know, even separately, you know, at least, you know, still works, you know, as a tattoo on its own. But then when you put them next to each other, then it makes it funny for BJ. Blowjob. So, I mean, it's, you know, something like that's fine, I would think. Because at least, you know, even on its own, it could be fine, and together with your friend, it works out, and even for some reason, if you're not friends with that person, it's still whatever, it works out, you know, you can have a different interpretation, different meaning to it, or if anything, add stuff to it then at that point, you know, to kind of change it up, so, I mean, you know, like, something like that I could be, like, you know, be fine with, get some unit tats, yeah, I want to. Don't know where, but I know I want to get a few. Unit thug. Yeah, I kind of want to put that somewhere on me. If anything, I might put that on my back, if anything. Of like, you know, upper back, you know, just having it all up there. Across the chest. Or that, well, that works too. Could do like the little tabby cat, like the little anarchist tabby cat. I could probably do that somewhere. Ooh, I can also do like an what else? Like an IWW logo, which is basically this, just of IWW instead of the Syndicate, Combined Syndicates America acronym. Could just do like what else? Oh, like like a kind of typical like Syndicalist, like kind of like the cog and reef thing going on to maybe somewhere. I mean, there's like some ideas I can get going with it. Yeah, like it just kind of depends on like where I want to put them. I need to get some eventually at some point, but I also kind of want to like kind of get a little bit of a workout routine going on a little bit, so I can kind of bulk up just a little. So then if I do get them and I do bulk up a little bit, that they don't kind of stretch out and stuff. Because I don't exactly want that. I don't want them, getting stretched out and not looking that great. So. Just bulk up just a little bit and should be good. Honestly, because I'll walk around and bike a lot and stuff, like, my legs are pretty fucking fit, so I could probably at least do a couple leg tats. I could probably put a couple, like, uni tats on the legs, too. Maybe I could do, like, a cog reef thing there, too. Maybe, like, a Savvy Cat somewhere on them. Little something. Godzilla biting down on my neck while he's charging his beam. How is that gonna work? You'll have to explain that one to me a little bit. I'll stab a demon through the chest to symbolize the eternal struggle between evil and good. I'm sure Christians will be taken out very well. And I won't, it's, because I'm sure, the Christians will be like, which side you're rooting for on that one, huh, buddy? Like, I don't know if I want to see that. I definitely would probably get, like, at least for me, maybe, like, some paganistic symbolism and shit. That's kind of like a little dog against religion, too, myself. And maybe, like, the atheist symbol, too, somewhere on me as well. Just have a little mixture of that complicated contradiction. The demon angel have kill blows to each other to symbolize we all die in the end. Well, that's depressing. Jeez. It's like, oh yeah, the kill blows would symbolize we all die in this. It's like, well, Edgy McEdgington. What is he doing over there? Is anything here? Yeah, I can't tell if these boxes here. Oh yeah, he's over there. He's over there just chilling. Just doing his little thing, being a little puppo. A sweet little puppo. Went through a phase where Seven, Angel, and Demon wanted Sith and Jedi both having couldn't blow on each other. Well, why not do that? Doesn't have to necessarily just be, like, I mean, that, because that works in a similar way, because, like, the Jedi and Sith kind of are, in a way, meant to kind of symbolize that a little bit, too. When it comes, because I know, at least when it comes to Sith and Jedi and, and all that stuff, that's kind of, like a symbology to kind of like some of the religious, struggle of things and shit like that, too, a little bit, so. I don't know, I'd say that, like, that, if anything, especially considering I know how much of a Star Wars nerd that you are, I mean, that would actually, I think, probably fit pretty well. because say the Sith is supposed to represent the demon and or like the devil in a way, or and then like the Jedi is supposed to represent the angel and shit like that and blah blah blah. You can still have it interpreted that way. I'm trying to see what other type of treats do I have. I really only got these bad boys. I don't really got anything else to give him for a treat. Shit. Boo. So I'd have to dip to something super larger than this. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. My dad has a demon tattoo on his shoulder to symbolize the evil voice. Tell him to do bad things he hears his stain or heard. I've been untreated mental illness, but like symbolism. I mean, it probably was untreated mental illness, but it seemed like he was able, in his own way, was able to kind of, like self-adapt to it. In a way, like overcome it eventually, since he had like, a way to kind of symbolize it, because of, it being a struggle at one point, but maybe not as much, in his later part of his life, so. He obviously had at least, some way of, like, kind of treating it on his own at some point. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the ingenuity of, like, humanity a little bit, because, I mean, my dad, for example, wasn't diagnosed as autistic until I was, because they were figuring out, well, how did I get it, so they did tests on both of my parents and realized that my dad did. And, for him, like, he just kind of thought he was kind of, like, just more of an asocial dick, in a lot of ways, so he would, usually to kind of fit in, would do different things, instead, or be kind of like the hookup in a lot of ways, especially when, it came to things like weed and stuff like that. Like, he knew his way around horticulture and things of the like. And that he was also kind of a nerd. So he kind of knew things and was into a lot of different things that, obviously, a lot of his peers were into, too. So he was able to at least, find, some like-mindedness with people and stuff, but, I mean, he was able to adapt, at least, despite that. And also, he kind of got into things like, Wiccans and stuff like that. So I think he also was able to have, like, an outlet for some of his more asocial quirkiness. We'd help Eliza as the team made a voice calm down, chill. Yeah, way to self-medicate. And also, I mean, at the same time, too, was another example of how, medicinal weed, even though it wasn't really that at the time, can definitely help. Same thing for my dad, too. Because obviously when he was growing it, he was smoking it too, and yeah, he would obviously be a lot more chiller, like, well, most people, when they're on weed, when they're high a little bit. So. He also at one point grew mushrooms. I want him to teach me that. I want to learn that. Be like, ooh, yes, please. Mushrooms become recreational illegal in Oregon, and I just fucking, start just my own recreational shroom business. Man, I thought if you'd be such a freak. Oh my god, you're fine. Don't be like this. Oh my goodness. Don't be like that. Don't mean to be just so filthy. Wash my hands out with soap. Wash your mouth out with soap, sir. Wash your mouth out with soap there, you dirty boy. You gotta make sure you're not like getting into anything over there. A little fruit. What? A little fruit. Yeah. So, don't know what I'm streaming for. Yeah, I'm going on for like a little over 3 hours. I could probably get myself some food and play a video game or something like that. All that fun shit. It's 4 in the morning. Nice. And I'm kind of having to stay up a little bit because I'm going to a wake tomorrow, so I have to meet up with some of my coworkers at 8 to go up to it. So that's gonna be fun. Probably note the sarcasm in that. Boo boo boo. Plus, I have to kind of go to the bathroom. Streaming? Alright, not gonna be streaming that. But, anyway. I'll go to the bathroom, grab myself to probably play a game or some shit, and at least until I need to get going, so. Peace out. And of course, I'll be back for that next one, so.